Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Common Council meeting for the City of Beech Grove. Today's date is July 6, 2026. My name is James Kaufman, Mayor. I'll defer to the Clerk Treasurer.
In lieu of roll call, we'll introduce ourselves starting on my far right.
Chris Duffer, Council at Large.
Dan McMillan, Councilor at Large.
Elizabeth Lamping, Councilperson, District 1.
Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Ryan Matkins, Council District 2.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Mike Hemmelgarn, City Council, District 3.
Avis Friesen, Councilwoman, District 4.
Mike Curtis, Council, District 5.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to start with invocation. Pastor?
We just bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for today. We thank you for your goodness. Father, we thank you for this town of Beech Grove. And Father, we pray for wisdom to reign, for your peace to reign in this meeting, Father. Give the council members wisdom and understanding. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. There are no special presentations this evening. Up first is we have a public hearing. Case number 2026-ZON-048. Address is 233 and 243 South 25th Avenue in the City of Beech Grove. And the request is to rezone of 5.01 acres from the D5 district to the SU1 district to provide for religious uses within existing structures and 2 new buildings. That being said, I'll defer to the Clerk Treasurer.
All right, yeah, we will open this public hearing. First, I will be reading the rules of procedure for the hearing and go from there. The proceedings of this hearing are governed by the council's rules of procedure. Petitioners and persons appearing in support of the case being heard shall have a maximum of 15 minutes for the presentation of evidence, statements, and arguments in support of the petition. Any person that desires to speak and provide testimony during today's hearing must first complete the sign-in slip located on the table in the back of the room. The slip must be presented to the council before you provide your testimony. Remonstrators and persons appearing in opposition to the petition shall have a maximum of 15 minutes for the presentation of evidence, statements, and arguments in opposition to the petition. Staff will then present the administrator's comments regarding the petition. The petitioner will then be allowed 5 minutes for rebuttal and a summation of the case. Rebuttal must be limited to the subject matter of the initial presentations. Remonstrators will be allowed 5 minutes for rebuttal for the petitioner's rebuttal of evidence and a brief closing statement. No further evidence, statements, or arguments will be heard unless it is at the discretion of the council. Please limit your testimony and evidence to the matters covered in the statutory requirements which must be met for the council to grant a rezone request. If the petitioners have failed to comply with all notice requirements as stipulated by the council's rules of procedure, including posting of the notice placard on the subject property at least 23 days prior to the hearing, the council may continue the petition. Anyone at this hearing who thinks complete and proper notices have not been given and would like the petition continued due to lack of proper notice must bring this matter to the council's attention at the beginning of the hearing. The council may impose various conditions and amendments before reaching a decision on certain petitions. The installation of landscaping and screenings, the paving of parked areas, and the dedication of right-of-way are examples of such conditions. These conditions are an integral part of the council's decision and must be met for a granted rezone to be valid. Every decision of the Beech Grove Common Council shall be subject to judicial review. Such petition for a judicial review shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the decision of this council. Please be courteous and orderly at all times, and please be sure all cell phone ringers are turned off. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions about our procedures? No? Okay. Looks like we have 5 people signed up to speak, so if you are one of those 5 people, please stand for me.
We'll have one lady back there with her hand up about
Oh, you have a
questions.
question? Yeah, it was removed prior to the meeting.
If nobody hasn't signed, you can sign. Yeah, if you haven't signed, would you like to sign?
Yeah, you can sign right now. Yeah.
If you want to come up now and sign it, or if you plan on speaking, stand up. Take an oath that you plan on speaking tonight. So,
Yeah.
And that's for the zoning. Okay.
All right, so anyone who is here, even if you didn't sign the paper but you plan to speak, please stand. For the zoning only.
This is only for rezone. So if you plan to speak on the rezone of 5.01 acres, stand up, and you'll have to take note if it's untrue.
Okay.
If you want to speak on something else tonight, you don't need to stand.
I do have 5 people signed up, and I only see 2 people standing.
Second, the petitioners need to stand up too.
Petitioner does need to stand up as well.
All the petitioners, if you're speaking on behalf of it, need to stand up as well.
Where's the petitioner?
The petitioner is at the front, is it not?
Yeah.
Oh, in the sport jacket? Okay, perfect. All right. Alrighty, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we will call the petitioner up. You have 15 minutes. Once you start speaking, a timer will be set, and when you're done, you will hear a chime.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Brandon Sims, and I'm the pastor of the Apostolics of Beech Grove. And thank you for taking the time to consider our request for rezoning. I'm sorry? Oh, sorry. Our desire is simple. We're seeking to establish a permanent home for our church so that we can continue serving the families in this community. We're a small family-oriented congregation that's focused on helping people through worship, Bible studies, youth activities, community outreach, family-centered ministries. And our goal is to be a positive asset to the community and a good neighbor to the surrounding properties. The property will primarily be used for weekly worship services, Bible studies, prayer meetings, and occasional church functions. We do not anticipate heavy commercial type traffic or activities that would create unusual disruption to the area, but we are committed to maintaining the property in a clean, attractive, responsible manner. And we also intend to comply with all local requirements regarding parking, safety, and future development. For the past several years, we've worked diligently to establish a permanent location in Beech Grove. And we believe that this property provides an opportunity for our congregation to continue growing while also contributing positively to the community that we love and that we serve. So we respectfully ask for your favorable consideration of this rezoning request. And there's been quite a few testimonies that have come through. Our church has been an open door, and I know that there's other churches in Beech Grove. We believe that there can never be enough churches. We believe that people come from different aspects of life, and sometimes we can reach people in ways that maybe someone else can't. We are all unique individuals, and we have been called for such a time as this. We're living in a very dark world, and it's just increasingly getting worse and worse. And so we're just a beacon of hope for this community. Our slogan is based off of Colossians 2:9 and 10. Wherefore in Jesus dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and we are complete in him. So we are a connection that will complete you. We have a connection with the Lord to take people to a deeper place than what they've already experienced, but also to help this community be Christian-based again, and to defeat the powers of darkness. And so the Lord has anointed us for this city. He's called us to this city, and it wasn't by accident. But my wife was actually in Franklin, Indiana, and she was running for a dear elder of ours during COVID that could not get out of her house and was very sick. And she began to get out of her vehicle, and she seen a little newspaper article from 1958 that she was compelled to pick up. And during our prayer and fasting of what the Lord was going to have us to do, she would open that small piece of paper up, and it would say Beech Grove in all big letters. I didn't know what Beech Grove was. We lived like a couple minutes from Beech Grove. I had no idea there was even a Beech Grove. I just knew we're in Indianapolis. So I've grown in the past 6 years to love this small city of 15,000 and have grown to appreciate the work that God has placed before me. So thank you for your time, for your service, and for your consideration.
Thank you.
All right. At this point, those in support of the petition will be able to speak. I'm going to read your name, and if you're not in support, because there's no way to differentiate, I'll remember for the next time. So Daphne Bunch, are you here to support or against? Okay. I think, I'm so sorry. Dorena Gleason? Okay. David Mika? Okay. Paige Maudlin? I don't see a Paige. Okay. And Micah Mosier? I know just saw Micah Mosier. Okay, gotcha. We'll put you on the other one. All right. Well, at this time, those against the petition will have 15 minutes. So Daphne Bunch, if you could. Okay, well then, Dorena, you can approach the podium. Yeah, just state your name, and then you have 15 minutes.
Hello?
Hello.
I live on 25th Avenue. I'm a neighbor of those homes, and I've lived there for 36 years. 36 long years. And I don't think we need another church in Beech Grove. I'm sorry, I already have one to the north of me, 2 doors down. I don't need another one 2 doors down to the south of me. We already have a tremendous amount of traffic. Actually, I should say highway down 25th Avenue, and it's supposed to be 20 miles per hour, but no one goes 20 miles an hour down my street. No one. It's a minimum of 40 or 50 miles an hour. And then we have the church, like I said, to the north of me, and they have brought in a tremendous amount of traffic. Tremendous amount. And they're not there just on Saturdays or Sundays. They're there 5 days a week with traffic, in and out, and in and out. Not to mention the people that are cutting through from Keystone through to Beech Grove. It's horrible. I'm sorry it is. It's horrible. I've asked repeatedly for speed bumps, not getting them, but that's another situation. Anyway, I have nothing against churches. I believe in God, so that's not the case. Okay? That is not the case. My problem is we do not need another church. You are tax exempt, okay? And I already pay a tremendous amount of taxes here already for 36 years. If they're tax exempt, where are we going to make up that money at? Because we will have to make up that money somewhere. And that means the rest of the citizens in Beech Grove will have to make up that money. We definitely will. And I, for one, do not want to make up that money because I pay too much as it is. So by letting someone come in from the outside, okay, and take over a part of Beech Grove and not contribute to it is wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If they have the kind of money that they're going to pay for this property to put the church in, they have the kind of money to pay taxes like the rest of us that live here and work here and take care of here. Am I right?
No.
That's right. That's correct. Yes. Yes, they do. Because they are collecting lots of money because they're going to pay a lot of money for that property. A lot of money. A lot more than 5 acres is worth. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So other than that, that's about all I have. You're going to bring a daycare. You have people there almost every day of the week. There will be comings and goings, not to mention the construction that will come in. Because they want to demolish what's there and add to. And if you look at the drawings of their setup so far, they're putting 2 of the buildings in the far southeast corner, which means the entire rest of the property is open for future development. Which they're not telling you what that is yet, because they may not know, but it may be something else that we don't need any of either. So this is all I'm saying. That's it. 36 years I've been here, and I've been here for 36 years for a reason, because it's a small town, and I like that. You walk down the street, you wave at each other, you know each other. I'm not saying we can't have that necessarily with the church, Like I said, I have nothing against God. I believe in God. Churches are wonderful. Not in a residential area. They are meant to be somewhere else. These people come from their homes, their quiet neighborhoods. They come from their quiet neighborhoods, and they come into my neighborhood, and now guess what? My neighborhood is no longer quiet. I go out, sit in my backyard like a park, it looks like a park, and I have to listen to all this other stuff. And I'm thinking, wait, I go to work every day, I do what I'm supposed to do, I pay my taxes, I take care of my property, and then I go out back on a quiet evening or a quiet afternoon, and I have to hear carrying on from different places. And I don't mean just your normal kids playing, I don't mean lawnmowers or weed eaters, that's normal, that's everyday stuff. I hear other things for hours and hours, and it's not quiet anymore, and I'm thinking, why do I not deserve that? I've worked hard for everything I have. I deserve to sit in my backyard and be peace and quiet, other than the noise. But these new additions to my neighborhood, they're going to make all kinds of noises, and it's not going to be peace and quiet anymore. And that makes me think, do I have to move? I've been here 36 years. Why do I have to move to get what I want out of life? That's all I'm saying, guys. It's that simple. Like I said, it's nothing personal, but it's not right. And I don't want it in my neighborhood. It's that simple. Like I said, I have no problem with the churches. The churches, God, I have no problem with that. Just not 3 doors down, 2 doors down from me on either side. I've already got one now. I don't need the other one. That's all I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I got a question for you. Are you on the east or west side of 25th Street?
I am on the east side.
East
I
side.
am in Beach Grove. Yeah, I know that's the dividing line between Indianapolis and Beach Grove.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
All righty. David Micka. You just state your name for me, and you have 15 minutes.
My name's David Micka, and I would like to thank the Beech Grove City Council for giving me the opportunity to express my opinion about this rezoning. My wife Brenda and I, along with our 2 children, have called Beech Grove home and Man Drive home for 30 years. While searching for a home after being relocated due to downsizing, Brenda fell in love with this city. And after a trip down Main Street with our real estate agent, and you could just about guess how that evening's conversation went, both our children are graduates from Beech Grove High School. We were band parents for 5 years. Our oldest grandson just graduated from Beech Grove High School. Our other 3 grandchildren attend Beech Grove schools. And our daughter is a Beech Grove schools bus driver. Our son happens to be a emergency services dispatcher for the city of Speedway, another small town, small city. Our roots run deep here, but certainly not as deep as some of the folks here tonight. Including the Dunlop family, whose property is in discussion. Just doing a little bit of limited research, that family has been on that property since before Beech Grove was Beech Grove. Based on public records that I checked, that house was built in 1902. So there's some historical significance there. We have witnessed this city struggle to maintain its status as a city and sometimes even its identity, because we're the smallest city of the 3 cities that are in the shadow of Indianapolis. The loss of our Marsh supermarket, St. Francis Hospital closing and completely removing themselves from the city, along with the Associated Physicians' offices, that was a big hit. Having to make difficult decisions based on that to eliminate our 911 dispatch center and have Indianapolis take over for our fire protection, I'm sure that those were extremely difficult decisions. But with each of those, the people of this city refused to go down without a fight. With these losses, it's fallen on our residents and small businesses here to support the services we still enjoy. Trusted city government and its staff, first-rate, well-trained and well-equipped police force, our Department of Public Works, who endure all kinds of weather to get the job done, our Parks Department that makes our city look better every single day, and our city court that I've thankfully not had to face because I'm sure it would not be pleasant, fair, but probably not pleasant. And our EMS team, who's there for me in the middle of the night, and our compliance department that helps keep our city neat and tidy. No one can dictate what the Dunlap family is going to do with their property, especially with their great-grandfather's house. But the loss of tax revenue on 2 properties, the burden of supporting police and fire services for the church would fall on the rest of us, as was reiterated by the previous speaker. The potential for increased traffic on Mann Drive and 25th. Mann Drive already sees substantial traffic by vehicles accessing Keystone Avenue, not only from the Park Grove neighborhood, but 17th Street as well. And Mann Drive is kind of like the previous person described. It's kind of like a drag strip because it's almost exactly a quarter-mile long. So we get that. Mann Drive is already suffering because of a repaving project many years ago that may not have been well thought out, and I think that with taking away the tax revenue from just even those 2 properties is going to shift the burden again. Right now, I don't see any real benefit, financially or otherwise, to the city or the neighborhood that the current 180 plus churches within 5 miles of Beech Grove do not already deliver. They're wanting to rezone part of my neighborhood, and many neighborhoods have covenants and that don't allow things such as those kind of things to just drop down into neighborhoods. Well, we don't have a covenant or anything. This council is our covenant, is our management. So because we have deep roots here, and the Apostolics of Beech Grove, I understand, are trying to establish a new home, but I don't really want it in my neighborhood because it's not contributing to my neighborhood. Like the previous speaker said, the church on the corner, which is a Chin Baptist church now, before that it was a Pentecostal church, I believe, and my father-in-law lived in that little house at the end of Main Street for a long, long time, and every Wednesday and Sunday night, that's what we heard. So I appreciate wanting to find a home. However, rezoning a neighborhood, I don't think is the way to go. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, he lives at 2341 Mann Drive. Paige Maudlin, are you here?
I'm here, I signed the wrong one.
Okay. Okay, we will move you over there. Okay. There was one letter that came in for remonstration that I will read at this time. To the Beech Grove Council, my name is Albert Wilkerson. I live at 2480 Mann Drive, Beech Grove, Indiana. My property adjoins property at 233 and 243 that has been proposed for rezoning 5.01 acres. I have multiple concerns in regard to the proposal. First is drainage ditch that runs between my property and 243 North Fifth Ave. With heavy rain, this ditch overflows into my yard and causes flooding. I recently had my basement waterproofed at a considerable expense to stop chronic basement flooding. My second concern is the electric grid. My address is on the electric grid with 27 other customers, including the other addresses of 233 and 243 North 25th Ave, the north side of Mann Drive, and approximately 4 to 5 addresses on Clark Avenue. We have had a history of outages on this grid, including one that lasted 5 days a few years ago and 2 days on occasion. 2 days on occasion, 6 to 8 hours on other occasions. I fear adding a large church building would only make the current situation worse. My third concern is that 25th Street is a 2-lane avenue on the Beech Grove side. On the edge of the road, there's about 6 foot long and 1 foot wide and 1 foot deep near 233 North 25th, where the proposed entrance to the new church driveway has collapsed on the edge and will increase traffic of 25th will only make this worse. Fourth concern is land use proposals at future ministry expansion. How much expansion and for what purpose? I think there needs to be extensive discussions and impact to surrounding neighbors. I don't believe this is in the best interest of me or my neighbors until our questions can be answered. Thank you for listening to my concerns. Albert Wilkerson, 2480 Mann Drive, Beech Grove, Indiana. All right, at this time, we will call up staff.
Could I add something to that?
Did you sign, have you sworn in?
No. I know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey, Michael, you're good to go.
Absolutely. Am I audible? Everyone can hear me? Okay. Oh, well, I will speak up then. I'll use my high school theater voice. All right. Thank you to the petitioner for their comments. Thank you to the council for your time, and thank you to the remonstrators for their comments as well. Our staff is recommending approval of the requested rezoning of this site from the D5 residential district to the SU1 district to allow for religious uses in the current building, as well as in a future building to be constructed. That recommendation comes subject to one commitment related to tree preservation at the site.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, Michael. If the audience can please refrain from speaking so we can hear staff. Thank you.
Sure. I will just get right up on the microphone. Test. Oh, I can hear myself a lot louder there already. Maybe this one's just low on batteries. I'll go ahead and start my remarks from the top just to make sure that I'm fully audible. And sorry for that small technical difficulty there. Thank you to petitioner remonstrators for their comments, as well as to the council for your time. Our staff is recommending approval of the requested rezoning of this site from the D5 residential district to the SU1 district to allow for religious uses within current buildings, as well as for future development at the site. That recommendation comes subject to one commitment related to tree preservation of the property. As mentioned, the property is currently zoned D5. Typically, the D5 zoning district contains single-family residences, but sometimes has an intensity closer to 2 to 4 units per property. The SU1 district is a special use district to allow for religious use. I think churches, synagogues, things of this nature, and then related accessory uses for those primary religious uses. Any new development within the SU zoning districts requires special additional administrative review from the Department of Metropolitan Development, in addition to whatever other construction permits would be required from the city of Beech Grove, structural permits, drainage permits, any access to the property via a driveway permit, things of that nature. The subject area comprises 2 parcels in total. That's 233 and 243 South 25th. It is at the western edge of Beech Grove. Surrounding properties are residential in nature. These 2 lots combined have an area of around 5 acres. There's proximity to Main Street just to the north of the site, and as mentioned, a church does exist at the corner of Main and 25th, a couple properties to the north of this subject site. This property is currently improved with 2 single-family homes, one of which are on each lot, and then 2 accessory buildings within that rear yard, and a much larger empty rear yard behind those. Per the petitioner, they would continue utilizing those existing buildings for fellowship meetings and administrative functions at the outset, and a future phase of development would result in construction of a larger church facility in the rear of the property, which would house for church ministry, Bible study, and things of that nature. Staff would emphasize that the site plan provided for review is conceptual in nature. Petition being heard today would not give permission to build those structures and parking with precisely that layout or in precisely that location. This hearing is just for the rezoning of the land to allow for future development. It would not be any sort of development plan approval for that specific design. The full operation plan is provided within the exhibits of your staff reports on page 7 if you wanted to read sort of the information given by the petitioner about the scope of their work. Our staff would note that accessory daycare use would be allowed within the SU1 district if that was something that was implemented in the future. And a parsonage or residence for the pastor would also be allowed by the district. If there were multiple residences to be placed, like some sort of group home or temporary shelter expansion beyond that, that's the sort of thing where an additional zoning approval with a public hearing would be required. As mentioned, admin approval would be required for new buildings within the SU zoning district, which would be done administratively by members of DMD staff concurrently with other petitions. That would be done to ensure that development would be harmonious with surroundings and that development standards would be met. We want to be very clear tonight that approval doesn't lock in this site plan. Staff noted potential issues with setbacks from property lines, as well as potential concerns related to internal connectivity and placement of sidewalks, landscaping, and parking. Again, not the subject of tonight's hearing, but something that the petitioner would need to address prior to their ability to obtain permits to allow for the additional construction. The comprehensive plan recommendation for the site, which is sort of the city's long-term goal for individual parcels or neighborhoods and development, is for suburban neighborhood uses. The suburban neighborhood typology envisions predominantly single-family homes, but also neighborhoods serving businesses and amenities, including places of assembly like churches. There's additional information about that within the comprehensive plan analysis section of the exhibits of your staff report. Our staff doesn't feel that the proposed use conflicts with that plan. It is also consistent with the church use further to the north, as mentioned. When the new building is placed, it appears that parking facilities would be added. For the initial smaller phase, it looks like there would be some parking availability based on existing drive and parking areas. Our ordinance would require there to be one space per 1,000 square feet of building for religious uses, or one seat per 4 seats within the sort of worship space, which isn't as applicable, but would become applicable in the future. They would need to provide adequate on-site parking facilities for that church function, if and when that church building were to be built. As mentioned and read into the record, we received a letter of remonstrance earlier today via email, as well as the comments that were heard this evening. The email expressed concerns about the impact on the electrical grid, concerns about drainage, the road access, and the scope of the future expansion not being immediately clear. Prior to their ability to obtain permits, the petitioner would need to have a drainage and driveway permit issued from Beech Grove's Infrastructure Division. We would encourage coordination with them on the sort of drainage layout and the access point being placed appropriately should the rezoning be approved and things progress there. The plan of operation does give some detail on expansion contemplated in the future, but again, not in a way that's set in stone or where specific numbers are mentioned. This district would require administrative approval, which would be a tool to ensure that it's not, too large, intrusive for surrounding properties are not placed right up on those property lines, which was a concern expressed by at least one of the demonstrators. As mentioned, our staff had suggested one commitment. We know that there's a large density of trees on the property, and we would want to take steps to preserve heritage trees on the site, should they exist. We think it would likely that they are. Heritage trees would be sort of large, rare species with a certain age attached to them. If approved, this would be done by the petitioner doing a tree preservation plan when the new building came for permitting. Basically, they'd pay to have a survey done by a certified arborist. They'd go through the property, identify any heritage trees, so that steps could be taken to protect them when the new property is being built. The petitioner expressed openness to that commitment. Overall, our staff feels that the land use would be appropriate for the surroundings, the property size, and doesn't cause a conflict with the comprehensive plan recommendation. Those were our primary points of consideration when recommending approval. Staff would emphasize that you as a council can request additional commitments on that approval from the petitioner if you so choose, if you wanted, control over added setbacks or separation or things that you felt might provide some additional buffering for neighborhood groups. That would be your ability to ask that as the council. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, Michael, one of the demonstrators had mentioned the age of the property and the houses thereof. Does that fall at all under historical preservation?
Right. Well, for the city of Indianapolis, we have what are called locally designated historic districts through IHPC, so that would be less related to a specific building and more neighborhoods that have achieved that status. On a building-by-building level, it's possible to decide it's within the state register, although I'm not certain that it is. That would not be something that would impact the zoning of the property. And my understanding is, I believe they intend to keep those buildings at least in the short to medium term. So I'm unaware of historic preservation protections that would exist for those structures.
I'm sorry, I thought I seen one of the resident structures and building was going to be removed. No?
The site plan provided this preliminary, but it did seem to show the 4 buildings that currently exist still on there. That's something the petitioner might be able to clarify.
As far as this piece of property, if it was not zoned to be church, what would you expect to go in there? That property been there, as long as I know, at least 60 plus years, where no one's went forward, wanted to purchase it or anything else. So I don't know, I cannot foresee any residential going into there.
Right. The property is currently zoned for predominantly single-family residential uses, so I suppose if denied, it could continue with those 2 single-family homes on the property. Anything with density too much beyond that would likely require a D8 or higher in density residential zoning. And then again, it is a residential district, so most commercial uses wouldn't be permitted by right.
So chances are it would sit there another 60 years, like the way it's sitting there now.
Difficult to say. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to speculate.
It is difficult to say.
So some of the concerns were for the drainage, but with this plan of operations, it's made it very clear that they'll be responsible for correcting or maintaining any kind of drainage issues along with construction, so it could possibly improve some of the drainage issues that are there now.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not an infrastructure expert, but prior to construction beginning, they would be required to obtain a drainage permit through the relevant permitting authority from Beech Grove. So hopefully that would lead to site improvements or at minimum not deteriorate what conditions might exist there. Again, not an expert, but a drainage review would be required prior to permit issuance.
Are there any-
Question. You keep referring to a comprehensive plan. Is that Indianapolis' comprehensive plan or Beech Grove's?
Yeah, that is in reference to the comprehensive plan pattern book for Marion County. Yeah, sure, good clarifier. Yeah.
Are there any other questions for staff? No? All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, petitioner, if you want to speak in response to what staff or the remonstrators have mentioned, you do have 5 minutes for a rebuttal if you would like to take it.
I just want to clarify that, that again, we are going to benefit the community. And as far as in sound, there's many ways of being able to keep sound in with certain landscaping put in. But I do hardscape construction for a living. And so we work with permeation systems. So we would fix that entire section and there wouldn't be any flooding at all ever. So I specialize in that type of thing. So that would be took care of. And the trees, we want to keep the trees. We're not tree huggers, but we want to keep the trees, provide shade and oxygen and everything else. So, but again, we're here to benefit the city of Beech Grove and help. And money is not everything, but if we can't get the community straight with the upcoming generation that's quickly fallen by the wayside, Beech Grove is just going to deteriorate because the upcoming generations are, they don't really have no one to follow. So the more upstanding individuals that are around to show, to be an example to the fatherless, is going to make Beech Grove better. So it's not just about the generation now or generations that have been here for 50 years, but it's about the upcoming generations. What do we want Beech Grove to look like in 20 years after some of the people that have already lived here are gone? Do we want it to deteriorate, or do we want to bring a hope to these young people? And that's what we're pushing for is just a complete turnaround, make Beech Grove great again, or to make it better. And every city can use some improvement, so that's not a downplay on the city. But every city has its own issues and problems, but we're just here to be a help for this city. But if there's any kind of issues or something that is that would be affecting somebody, we're always up to have a discussion on how we could help fix things, repair things, or whatever. So we actually offer doing work for people that can't do it on their own. We put in a $10,000 step and landing for an elderly woman that was about 87, and she had two handicapped daughters that are in their 60s, and they were falling down the steps. They couldn't even use their front door, and we installed all that free of charge. So we're definitely not here to collect money. As the pastor of this church, I've never collected 1 cent. I work for a living. I'm bivocational, but I do all of this because I'm called to do it. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm working free of charge for the kingdom of God, and I believe that that's how it should be. So, thank you.
I got one question.
Oh yeah, the houses are not being torn down. We want to keep those houses. We got plans, great plans.
I just would like for you to maybe tell this community that property will be well maintained and make sure it's well kept up. I know the churches they're referring to it, 25th Street, has never looked better than what it has right now. The ones at 9th and 10th and Alton, they're in there fixing them up and doing a great cleanup, and the same way with 10th and Albany. So these properties are well taken care of, and I'm sure yours will be too.
Oh, we will.
You wouldn't put that
We
kind
will
of money
beautify
into
it. We will
wasn't.
beautify it.
So I think maybe with these assurances, they won't be, hoping that, you're not there.
I think what Councilman McMillan is saying is so important because you're coming into the community. It'd be good to tell this community what it is exactly, reach out and have that communication with them to make them feel like that they're not, all their fears are not, because everything about your faith and what your service is for the people that are here,
Yes.
concerned about it.
Yes.
So
It's for the sick. It's for the fatherless. It's for the widows.
You're
It's
to help,
for the-
build this
it's for the
community,
druggies.
give them an
It's for
idea
the-
about what you can do to make improvements and be beneficial. To be part of that, I think, is important for you.
Yes, we're willing to invest in that property, not only making it look better, but we're investing in the people too. So some of the strategic planning of programmings that we have to help the people are they're very, very, very good, and the turnaround is going to be amazing. And so if you would give us the chance and not cut us down, but get the chance to know us, and we will prove to you, and you'll be able to see the works, because you're known by the fruits you bear. Mm-hmm. So none of y'all know me. I don't know you, but I would love to get to know you and be of a service to you. And whatever that may look like, whatever you may need, I want to be of a service to you.
I don't want to belabor the time, but I appreciate what you've done and for the kingdom. And you mentioned the $10,000 help that you did. I may have missed it. Was that for residents in Beech Grove or somewhere else?
Well, they're right on the outskirts of Beech Grove.
Okay.
But that's our ministry.
Right.
If there was somebody in Beech Grove, like we would have did it, we would have done it for them. But that's the kind of services that we want to offer. We actually are going to be creating like a website where people in the community can respond to it, and people that are in need, people that are really in need. like the elderly, like people that cannot move. They've got issues where they're bound by home. We want to go mow their grass. We want to go fix their their landscaping, or if they need ramps. There's been so many people that have had requests for ramps because they can no longer use their steps. We want to provide that kind of service. It probably won't be a $10,000 deal.
Right.
That was a one-time thing that I was able to actually get materials all donated, and they were premium materials. But that's the kind of person that I am. I'll do whatever I can, to provide those services, within reason, obviously. But
Next time you have a prayer meeting in the vestibule, invite me in.
hey, okay. Hey, I'm into that.
I think everybody in here can, appreciate the church coming in and wanting to do this. I think pretty much everybody in here is people of faith, and I think the biggest thing that I see for a lot of people is the tax dollars. I understand what the remonstrators have come up and said. It is, we keep bleeding money. We keep losing tax base, and it is hard. Like you had said yourself, we want to be here for future generations. I think that, somewhere around the last 10 years, that property's around $45,000. Another 10 years, another $65,000, whatever. It's not a lot, but it's something. I'm not saying I'm against the church at all, because I am absolutely not. I just want everybody to understand both sides of what everybody's talking about. I think everybody in here feels the love of God and understands, where we're all, trying to head to. It does come down to, doing the best that we can with what we have. So I think that's the biggest fight. I just wanted to kind of clarify that, let you know that we're not, I don't think anybody in here is, trying to demonize and say, no, get out, run around. But I just wanted to kind of clarify so everybody kind of clear the air a little bit.
Yes, sir. Well, a lot of that money, a lot of what we do when we do provide our services, we provide our time. That is, in essence, it kind of does balance out if you think about it, because, as far as in property taxes for there, very minimal to what we're actually giving into the community. 10 times that amount.
Is there pretty
$650,000?
much,
That's a lot.
is a lot of people in your congregation residents of Beech Grove already then?
Yes. So, and this is just a few that are here tonight. There's many families that couldn't make it. If they would have, there probably would have been no seats. But yes, so everything we're giving into the community, it really does balance out. I know it seems like, and I understand where the sister's coming from as far as in churches taking money. You see a lot of that all the time, televangelist, and you see just one big scheme and scam. But that's not what this is. We're giving more than we're receiving.
And I don't know that that's exactly how they were feeling. I think it just comes down to tax dollars and a little bit of, peace. I think that's really all it was. I don't think it was anything else. So, all right.
Well, with all that said, I just wish that Passion was here when they gave away 18th and Albany to the plumbing school.
We need to stay on topic, I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry, this
talking to
rules of
Passion
procedure.
people here that are-
We have to stay on
Yes.
topic at hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dorena, you have 5 minutes to rebut that. Thank you.
The question here isn't what you're going to do with the property, how pretty you're going to make it. We're not talking about how pretty it's going to be. We're talking about, I just can't get over this. Why this is so difficult, people understand. If you went 2 miles out of Beech Grove and put your church there, would you not still service the people of Beech Grove? Would you not also service the people of Indianapolis? You don't have to be in Beech Grove. You don't have to be here. So don't make it sound like you're here to save Beech Grove, because you are not, sir. You are not. If those people, anybody, whether it's Beech Grove or Indianapolis, wants to go to your services, they can drive right over to 3 miles over and partake in whatever they need to do. You don't need to be in Beech Grove to service them, correct? Or anybody else, exactly. So the need to be here, why? I don't know, but the point is you're making it sound like you're here to save us all. I don't know what we've all been doing before him, the church, but how many churches do we have in Beech Grove already? And Beech Grove isn't that big. We don't need any more churches. We need people who are going to contribute this way. This way. I'm sorry. We have to contribute this way to stay here, to live here, to make it what it is. You want to jump in here with us? We don't have no problem with that. But it's not an even playing field. You don't want to pay your part, but you want us to welcome you as if you're one of us. No. You bring too much to our little area that we have, right on the edge of Indianapolis and Beech Grove. That's where you are. So if you go 2 miles over, they have what you need. Sure they do. And you might get it cheaper. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know what else. We don't care. I mean, we care, but we don't care how pretty you're going to make it. We don't care if you keep the trees. Because we've already cleaned out a whole forest that was over there before you got here. I don't know, guys. I don't know what more to say. I've stated everything I know to say. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I have nothing against. I love God. I believe in God. So it's not just I'm picking on them because it's religious. I'm saying it doesn't belong in my neighborhood. These people, and I say these people because it's these people want to come in my neighborhood and change what I have. How about they go to their neighborhoods and do it? Why don't you go to your neighborhood and put those things next to you where you live? Not where I live. I don't want them next to me. Okay? I don't want to deal with all that extra stuff. I just want a neighborhood and my neighbors where we all get along and know each other by name. We watch out for each other. We take care of each other. That's what I want. And I'm not saying that you don't do all these things that you say. I just don't want you in my neighborhood. I mean, it's nothing personal. God is everywhere. He's with me always. He's with me right now, right here, and right here, and right here. So I speak. He knows every word I say, every day. So it's nothing personal. I just don't want you where I am. And it's not you personally. It could be any church. You don't belong in my neighborhood. Please. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you.
David, would you like your 5 minutes?
I really take exception to the characterization that the youth of Beech Grove are drowning in some cesspool of whatever. The pastor's family does not live in Beech Grove. They live in a really nice neighborhood outside of Beech Grove on the south side. So for him to character, and having only been here 5 years, been in existence for 5 years, you really don't know the character of Beech Grove. You really don't know how tough and gritty this town really is. The fact that it's still here and not just a neighborhood in Indianapolis is testament to that. My grandchildren are here in Beech Grove. My grandchildren's friends are here in Beech Grove. It's not this quagmire of despair and drugs and alcohol abuse and all that other stuff. It's just not. It's not this town. They have an immense amount of respect for the police officers of Beech Grove. I think almost every high school student in this city has the respect for the Beech Grove Police Department. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're there. A lot. And they're making a connection. So, you know, to characterize, you know, it kind of pisses me off, to tell you the truth. And the other thing is that nothing's free. So whatever donations you were getting or whatever things you get, nothing's free. Somebody pays for that somewhere along the line in some fashion. So to say that, you know, this is free and that's free and we're going to do this for free, it's not free. So try not to characterize that as something that you do, because nothing's free. It's either time, it's equipment, it's materials. Those materials that were donated, somebody paid for. And so, you know, it's not free. And you know that as well as I do, because you own a business. So, you know, I would appreciate serious consideration. And again, you know, I'm with everybody else here. I'm not anti-God. I'm not anti-Jesus Christ. I'm not anti-religion. I'm not the devil in disguise. I'm just a grandfather who's put roots down in this town and would like to keep it what it is, a small, tight-knit community, and not throw something into the middle of a neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, that closes testimony. Before the council discusses, I know that I just want to chime in with real numbers about property taxes. I did take the time to look up how much we've received from those two properties in the last 2 years and projected out what we would get in the next 10 years. Over the past 10 years, both those properties combined, we received $45,884. And then projecting that out, it's roughly $64,000 to $65,000 over the next 10 years. And I know they were saying that what they put back in the community has value, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but however, property taxes pay for salaries and infrastructure, and those are two different values. So just so the council has those numbers. And at this point, you are welcome to discuss before you make any motions or vote.
Samantha, what was the second number that you said?
65,000.
And that's for 10 years going out?
Mhm.
Okay.
It is assuming the laws are the same, and that's without any major improvements. The house at 243 did see quite a significant jump in property taxes in between 2022 and 2023 due to assessed value adjustment. It over doubled. So.
Gotcha. Thank you for that.
Can Chris have his mic back?
The petitioner,
You sure Mike was? Oh. Do you mind?
No.
That way we all can hear. Thank you.
the petitioner, Kathy Chappell, is a friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while. She's worked in the city, and she called me with some questions concerning this property, and I did my best to answer those questions of her, and then the conversation drifted into this zoning change, and then I became aware that discussing this zoning change with the petitioner is illegal. It's not allowed. So I will be recusing myself from this vote.
And because of the oath that I did take at the beginning, I will also have to do the same, because I did also receive the same call from Kathy.
Anybody else receive that call?
Nope.
Okay.
I feel left out.
Okay. So there is a petition before you to rezone the 5.01 acres from D5 district to the SU1 district. which would provide for religious uses within existing structures and two new buildings. It's been presented to you, council, so it's now up to you guys to either make a motion. There were some commitments. I'm not the attorney, but if you are able to put commitments on the property if you decide to rezone it, or approve it as is, or deny. So that's up to the council to make that decision now. So I'll let you guys discuss it amongst yourself and before we continue on.
Well, if it passes, it would definitely have to adhere to all their concerns, no two ways about it, especially the gentleman who just put in a bunch of money into keeping his basement dry. So yeah, there have to definitely be a bunch of considerations taken. And as he said, the landscaping to put up for now, noise barrier and stuff, you know, so yeah, many things to put into consideration.
Just for the record, so you know, sir, so once you get to that point, if you do approve the zone, so they have to submit plans for building. There'll be stormwater tests, or you know, a screening over there for the stormwater. They'll have to get an ILP from the state, and then when you get to landscaping and stuff, they might have to go to the BZA for additional either permissions or variances for that property, depending on, as they mentioned, you know, the number of parking spots, how close to the edges, the easements, those type of things. Because I know with the way that it was presented, they want to put the church all the way in the back corner, which is right up, button up next to all those houses, and I think that's one of the biggest concerns as well. So all those you have to address, they'll have to address
I'm
if
sure
it gets
he's
to that
aware
point.
that he's gonna have a lot on his plate to have to deal with this, you know, to satisfy the community as well.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this zoning request with the commitments that was committed to the staff, and
We have to.
So which ones?
Yeah, we have to state
list
them.
out. Which
Yeah,
ones,
we
Dan?
have to-
I don't know what the commitment was. Can you come up and tell us?
The heritage.
I think it had something to do with the trees.
Right. Our staff had requested one commitment related to them receiving administrative approval for a tree preservation plan prior to making the ILP application. Admin approval would also be required from DMD for any new development within an SU district, which would confirm compliance with things like setback separations, landscape parking, things like that.
That's the motion I would like to make.
A second.
There's a motion and a second. I will start on my left here. I know Councilor Duffer.
Approval.
Approve.
Recluse.
Approve.
Approve.
Not approved.
So it's,
I want you guys to move to my neighborhood.
okay, so it's 3-2. It's not a, it's 3-2?
I thought it was more than 3-2.
It's 4-1.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said not approved.
He said not approved.
Yeah. It says
So you have yes,
yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes. No.
Yes.
yes, okay. 4-1. Okay, sorry.
No.
It's 3-2.
4-1.
How is it? It's not 3. Yeah, it's 4-1.
It's 4-1.
Okay. All right, that petition is approved 4-1. All right. All right, thank you, counselors. Up next is committee reports. RDC, they do not have a report this evening. I was told to let you know that in August they will present to the council. The Civitas Group or Veritas Group will be here to present some information to you about the comprehensive plan and how we plan to use that entity in the next year to get that plan implemented. Financial report, Samantha.
Well, my Wi-Fi is not working, so can I borrow that? Sorry. All righty, good evening. Property taxes were distributed at the end of last month, and Form 22s were included in your council packet. The RDC received $648,568.59, making their new fund balance $2,717,767.62. This was an increase in $100,000 from last year's spring distribution. We also received $124,000 from the state from sewer liens that have been deposited back into the sewage utility fund. The 2026 pilot payment has been made, as well as the first half of the 2026 return on investment. The bank account and fund balances are listed below as of July 6, 2026. These totals do not include all claims that were approved earlier this evening. City Corporation bank account, $8,930,866.40. Utility bank account, $1,708,000. $708,424.11. Criminal Investigation Fund, $364,689.38. And RDC General Fund, $2,740,269.18. And the fund accounts are as follows. The General Fund, $2,397,652.96. Sewage Utility Fund, $619,071.23, and Stormwater Utility Fund, $920,104.86. Respectfully submitted, Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you. Any questions for the clerk treasurer?
Mayor, before we continue, if
Yes.
anyone wants to leave, you can leave. If not, we need to be a little quieter in the audience, just so everyone can hear.
Can I go to the restroom while they leave?
Oh, yeah, feel free, yeah.
We'll wait just a minute.
Yeah. We can take a, 3 to 5 minute break. You will still be on mics though, so if you speak, people at home will hear you. Yes, yeah,
Maybe 3, but
Yeah.
yes.
yeah.
I'll hurry.
Maybe 3.
Is that District 1, that area where the church is going? Is that District 1, 2, 3? That's you? Okay.
How's things at Thompson Emerson, when they're gonna be opening?
Break ground the end of July.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I thought-
supposedly. They keeps getting pushed.
I thought they was kind of in step with Chick-fil-A and everybody else there.
They
right?
wanted to wait until crew got done.
Oh, okay.
So now they're open.
Yep.
Also, if anyone arrived a little bit late, if you wanted to do public comment, now is your only chance to sign up.
And then getting some materials anymore, you know.
Yes, sir. I'm right. It's full, so. Flip it over.
Why is the Wi-Fi not working? It's not. Driving me crazy.
Anybody else need to sign up for public comment?
Should have brought our sleeping bags.
For real? How many is it?
Bullpen.
Yeah, we got you, Micah. Yeah, we got you.
Did you?
I thought the whole place was for, like, that's not the whole, the congregation here.
Right.
Alrighty, we are all back.
All right, we're going to get started again. All right, council members. So So what do? Committee reports. Up next is reading minutes approval. So you have minutes from our last meeting dated June 1st, 2026. Any comments or questions? No comments or questions. Entertain a motion to approve the common council meeting minutes dated June 1st, 2026.
I make said motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Up next is we have public comment. I know a lot of people have signed up to speak this evening. We'll start there, and then we have some letters as well to read into the record. So we'll start with those in attendance first.
All right, folks, we've got about 20 names here, so it's 8:15. It's going to take over an hour to get through this. So I ask you to please be respectful of our rules and of 3 minutes. Keep your comments to 3 minutes. If you decide you don't want to speak, if I call your name, just say you don't want to speak, and that's fine. But again, we've got to hear a couple ordinances here tonight, so we're gonna be here late. So please keep your comments to 3 minutes. What I'm gonna do is, I think by looking at the names, I think there's 2 issues here tonight. I think there's Dora, and then there's some folks who want to speak about the landfill. So why don't we get them out first and let them speak? I think there's 3, maybe 4. And then we'll go to the door issue. Having said that, Manny Singh.
Hello. First, thank you, council, mayor, for allowing us to speak tonight. This is regarding the landfill that we had a hearing on in March, I believe. It's been a few months. Just providing an update on this, what's going on, and then a request that we have towards the end. I'll let my engineer, Chris, or Donnie, do you want to speak first?
It would likely behoove you guys to speak separately. That way you each get 3 minutes instead of all 3 of you. If you talk, we only get 3 minutes.
Just everyone gets 3 minutes, I guess, that's all we need.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for listening tonight. I think you all know me. I'm Donnie Morehouse. My brother and I are here on behalf of our property over here. We're trying to work with Manny Singh and Beech Grove on coming to closure on this. When Ronnie and I bought that property, we invested a lot of money and we had big plans for Beech Grove. Unfortunately, the mayor turned south, the economy tanked, things happened. We stepped out, we got older. We have a man that has a beautiful concept going there. It's ready to go. I've talked to Jim, I've talked to everybody, I believe, and we're just looking to get Manning what he needs to proceed forward. He cannot get approval from IDEM on any kind of letter that's third-party oriented. So he has to have a letter from Beech Grove to IDEM so Manning can speak on their behalf. Otherwise, he's working backwards. He's going to spend $150,000, $200,000 on stuff without any commitment also as far as Beech Grove's end of it. It needs something simple. Hey, Beech Grove is willing to and make this happen, this transaction, as long as Manning jumps through all the right hoops. He has to get IDEM approval. He has to get, I believe he's got almost everything else already. But that's what he needs to speak on. I'm here on my brother's and my behalf on trying to just see what we can do to make this a go. I believe with the amount of money it's going to generate, Beech Grove, I believe it's a no-brainer. And it's not when they get done, you'll see it's not just an average parking lot. So it's above average, well-maintained, well-monitored, and, like I say, great income from Beech Grove on property that's not generating any right now. So
I think everyone knows that Donnie owns half and the city owns the other half, which is why he's speaking.
yeah, we went through Ronnie and I bought the whole piece of property from Ronnie Kuykendall. we didn't go through and spend all that money to get it annexed to Beech Grove because we didn't want to be here. We spent a lot of money getting that done. You know, Brian Bosma's not cheap. And so we spent a fortune on all that besides what we already had ready to go. So, you know, I mean, this is more hoops just to get up here so far than we had in the whole process of buying the property to get it annexed into Beech Grove. And if Beech Grove, unfortunately, if the mayor had done what he did or whatever, we would have been over here. We wanted to come to Beech Grove, but things happen, especially with me right now, and then Ronnie's had a lot of medical issues, so, you know, hey, we're not going to do anything with it. It's going to sit. It's a great project, so I'd like for you to listen to them and look deeper into it. And I really believe it can be a lot simpler than it's made out to be. For some reason, we're dragging around here, and I'd like to get that resolved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Chris Badger.
Good evening.
And I'm with Badger Engineering. We're located in Carmel, Indiana. And I'd like to go through the project. I think I've got a loud enough voice that everybody should be able to hear me. At least that's what my wife says.
You'll have to stay at the mic, unfortunately.
For people watching at home.
Yeah, you have
Mic
to.
on podium. So you want to move it over here, you can. You move this over here. Yes, for people watching at home and for. You sure?
Jim. Thank you, Jim. So what we've got is a parking lot for semis. And I know that, you know, nobody wants them parking on their street or down the road. So this is a place that's far away, not going to be bothering anybody. Right now, as you know, Emerson's a thoroughfare for Indianapolis and has quite a few vehicles on it every day. Across the street from us is a concrete distributor who has 80 trucks and they go 3 or 4 runs a day. So you already have a huge number of trucks coming through here. What we're proposing is to get a right turn off of Emerson that will go through Subway and turn into this. And this, I don't know if everybody can see, but it has a large drive because we have 30 feet of fill there. And that landfill, when we talked with IDEM, their concerns were really the weight. And so we hired Geotil to come out, and they're a geological company that can go out and determine how much weight can be put on that waste. So one of the main things that IDEM talked about was not having any buildings or any foundation that could differentially settle and cause cracks, et cetera, et cetera. So if you look here, there's no buildings on it. The only thing we do is have a shack down here that will allow vehicles in and out. It will be cameraed, and it has all the vehicle IDs. So if they're staying there time after time, they'll just come in, show their vehicle information, pull in, and park. So they will put, we've got 367 right now spaces in this, and it has an 80-foot drive. That 80-foot drive will be made of porous concrete, which will allow the number one issue, which is methane, to be able to go through the pavement without trapping any of it. What you don't want to have is methane build up into a gas that could ignite and cause a fire. Other than that, CO2 is the other one, and CO2 actually puts out fires, which seems weird that you have one that's really dangerous for fire and the other one puts it out. But CO2 is the other one. All of this is just decomposition of waste, organic material, and over time, this will settle. We are building all the parking stalls with gravel so that allows the air to breathe. We'd be removing about 6 inches of topsoil and putting back number 2 stone. If anyone hasn't seen number 2 stone, it's about the size of my hand right there. And it's very large, allows air gaps to go through that and allow the methane to breathe out of that. Other than that, we are going to have the whole thing with...
You have about 10, 15 seconds left.
We have it fenced, we have it lit. The lights are not going to be put in the ground. They're going to have a large concrete 3x3 that will hold that light because we want it lit. Also, it'll have normal power, and there'll be availability for people to plug in. If you know anything about diesel, you have to keep the oil from freezing. So all of those abilities are here. We will also probably have a small area that will have porta potties so that they can go to the restroom. We looked at trying to put a bathroom in, but it's a building, so it wouldn't work. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Any questions?
I do have a question.
Sure.
The 300-foot, I think you said that would be on Emerson Avenue where it would turn on the subway? This little part up here in the
See
front?
right here?
Yes.
Dedicated turn lane.
Okay. That's what I was curious.
Yeah, so that way any trucks that would back up as they're trying to get in here wouldn't cause an issue for Emerson or Subway.
Okay.
And your engineering company is gonna foot the cost of all that? Are you asking anything from the city as far
Nothing
as?
from the city, other than we need a commitment to get IDEM to write us a letter.
So where's this road at? Is
This is just showing you a
is
dedicated turn
this
lane.
from a traffic study that's saying you need that?
No, we know
Okay.
it's needed.
Okay.
I mean,
But there's
I
no,
do
there's been no traffic study.
No, it's one of the expenses we have. It's a $20,000 expense that we'll present at the time we start to do development. But for us to get any further, we need a commitment from Beech Grove that says, and with that commitment, I can now show that to IDEM and say, here, we're purchasing this property or getting it, I think you guys got it for $1, and they were at one time proposed a park, and that park fell through. But if we buy this property becomes landlocked. And so it has 30-foot high, you can see these are all contours going up. So it'd be 30-foot high, so there's no way to get to it or to make it a park at a future date.
There's an easement. There's a easement in perpetuity, correct? That grants access to that back property?
No, not that I've found. You can go look. I have the legal description, there's no easement at all.
So all you're asking of the city then is for our permission to let you guys move forward on this?
We'd like you to give us some path so that we can show that we're getting ownership, so that we can go to IDEM and get them to give us a letter so that they will allow us.
And when you say you're getting ownership of Mr. Morehouse's side, or your ultimate goal is to
We
get?
are already in the
Right.
process, so we
So
have
your
a
ultimate
contract with him.
Goal is to get the Beech Grove side?
Correct.
Can I add more to that?
Yeah, you'll have 3 minutes for your comments, and if you would like to, I don't want to block Chris from the
That's fine.
audience.
Since I have 3 minutes, I'm going to get right to the point. I feel like Beech Grove and I are working backwards in this process. We've been asked to put all this money into the studies, improving the property, engineers, traffic studies, without anything written from the city's attorney saying that we're going to be getting this property. So we got in a list of things to do. It's like you're asking me to build a house without the land on it, without the land being there. I need a commitment from the city to move forward. There's no way I can go forward without a commitment and spending all this money, thousands of dollars. Currently, I'm already up to $120,000. So without a commitment, there's no going forward. And to summarize, we haven't found any easement going back to the city land except through Morehouse, which we're in the contract for buying. You're landlocked at the end of the day. I'm not using that against you, but that's a real fact.
So what's the city's, so what is the city?
I can explain the process after he's done in
Yeah.
3 minutes, because
Okay.
we've given them those permissions.
Okay.
I can
You
explain
g-
that when he's done.
I've gotten permission to test, but then the letter states that we'll think about going into any negotiation for this property, which my legal counsel, who's not here tonight, but gave a letter to Mr. Craig Riley to speak, it's working backwards again. Without a commitment, we're asked to test, provide site plans, surveys, soil testing, traffic studies, all at expense, and then we'll just think about it at the end of the day. It makes no sense to any one of us. So there's a point, we came here thinking with good intentions in the past, we're going to have some sort of commitment, but now it's just issue after issue coming up, and I don't think we're on the same page with the city, and that's why we came forward tonight to get this cleared up and see where we can go with this.
Well, is the city concerned about a liability of that, of the work that you want to do, but you're going to meet what all standards IDEM expects you of to keep that unearthed?
Well, we took all the
waste.
responsibilities last time. I think your question, Liz, last time was appraisal on this land. Just to point out another thing, only 40% of your land, the city side, is usable. The rest right here is not usable because of slopes. all the issues with the leaching is from the city side, not the Morehouse property side. So I'm asked to do something without any commitment. That is where the issue's coming in.
So were we to make a motion and give a commitment?
You don't have the legal
No.
authority,
No, you don't have to.
unfortunately.
We're not
This is not the
voting on-
body to do that. It would be Board of Works at the end of the day.
Oh, really?
And we're not
Okay.
voting on, you're just presenting, we're not voting on
There's
anything.
Yeah, there's no
nothing,
vote
but
on
this
anything.
needs to, we need to address the mayor, we need to address Craig and see what we can do to get these commitments. I don't think I should be going to do all the testings and then phone in a question mark saying, we'll think about it at the end of the day.
So
That's my
Manny,
biggest.
let's make something, let's make sure we're clear here. The city has asked you to do nothing. The city hasn't asked you to spend a dime. You've done it on your own accord, correct?
You're telling me that
Yes.
I went in, no, you told us to go deal with IDM. You
Correct, but-
especially,
Correct, but the city did not tell you to go spend your own money on this. You've done this on your own as a businessman, correct?
no, you gave us a letter through the mayor saying I need to do all these things in order for you to consider this sale.
That's on you though, not the city.
I'm not asking you for money. I'm asking you for a commitment. You're asking me to do all these studies. For what reason?
But you don't
But Manny, you are asking, you're asking the city to give the property to you for free.
No, I'm not asking you for free.
That's what you
But,
said.
but the mayor, the ex-mayor, Buckley, he did propose this land to go for $1.
Not
It should
to
be
you.
on your records.
Not to you though.
For another semi-parking
any-
lot that was
any-
denied.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
about that, but it should be in the records.
So a couple things, so real quick, so
Hey, Mayor.
what, the first thing that you asked for, okay, was permission to drill test, do core testing, and we gave you that permission, correct?
Yes.
Okay, the next thing was you said because of the process, you wanna know that the city is open to negotiations to transfer this property to you eventually, right? And we gave you that letter, and then I was told that all communication goes between my attorney, the city attorney, and your attorney, and that's what we were doing, okay? So now coming to find out all the things are changing. Back in March, we said we needed one thing, which was a letter from IDEM saying that they would approve the reuse of semi-truck parking, right?
Okay,
And
we
we said
can't-
that in March, so
Okay.
that's what we're waiting on.
Let's answer that question. How can I get a letter on a city property that I don't own? How do you want me to get the letter if you don't request it, but I am?
You've never asked us to request it, you said you get it, sir. So yeah,
You
well, I'll
were
refer
written
back
by,
to the city
it was
attorney.
by the city email. Your email states that I have to get it. There's no third party cannot request a letter on the city's behalf. That is a problem we're reaching. And we try to convey this message many, many times, and we just can't get the right answer.
Well, what is the problem? Are you concerned about a liability for this property if they move with what they want to do with the trucking?
We already took
No.
accountability for the
No,
liability.
we told them there's a whole process of things that have to get figured out before any transfer of a property can happen. Okay. First is getting IDEM to sign off on it. The second one would be for Indianapolis to relieve the stipulation that has to remain as a
Okay.
park in perpetuity. Okay, those are two things. The third would be rezoning. Another one would be mitigation of the property. And there's several. I'll defer to Craig for that. So so I'm not sure what else.
Well, I can't rezone the property without owning it.
Correct.
I can't go to IDM and get a letter without owning it. I
Manny,
can't do
have a
none
question
of
for you.
these.
Manny, I have a question. So we haven't heard from IDEM in months. What commitment? You say, I've heard this a few times now. You want a letter of commitment from the city. Commitment to do what?
Commitment that we're in the process, you're gonna sell me the land if I'm doing all this for the city. I need some sort of indication you're for it or against it, because I can do all this stuff and then you come back later saying, guess what, it's a park now.
Okay, so before you move forward with the project and spend any more money, you want a commitment from the city.
Correct.
Okay, all right, I understand now. The engineer, I got a question for him. Sure. So, 3 years ago, IDEM, there's an individual that came forward and had the exact same plan for this property, and IDEM said, they denied it and said, no, it can't be done. What's changed in 3 years that you think you can convince IDEM to approve this?
First of all, it wasn't the same plan. Secondly,
Well, what's different then?
the layout, the whole property, it's not the exact same. Was it a truck facility? Yes. That's about it. At that time, 3 years ago,
Parking
IDEM,
semi-vehicles, correct?
at that time, 3 years ago, IDEM had an issue with a blowout that was caused by individuals four-wheeling back by the railroad. And that has, since they've had a chance to look at it, they've realized that it's not a blowout where you have actual sludge coming out because of the weight pushing down. So then we had Geotil since then give IDEM the calculations, and they feel, and I don't want to speak for IDEM, but I've talked to them personally, that this is an okay situation and that the trucks will not cause issues. They don't want anything there permanently, and that was something else they showed. They had buildings on that property 3 years ago.
So Chris, I'm curious, you had mentioned that, and I was gonna ask you that. You had mentioned the weight of the building. They didn't want the weight of the building
No,
on there.
the buildings would differentially settle. So this portion, this 10-foot portion might settle 4 inches. This portion over here might settle 2 inches. So you get a differential settlement, and what happens is it cracks and the building would fail. So that's what their concern was.
Well, I'd like to,
That was their concern too, 3 years ago, when they talked about the heavy vehicles breaching that cap, and as a result, we get leachate down into that creek. That's why you have all that red.
You have leachate in the creek because of the four-wheeling that's been going on. They've been tearing up the property. That's the only spot that they have leachate right now.
Well, there's never been heavy trucks parked back there before.
I didn't say heavy trucks, I said a four-wheel. The only reason we have leachate, and 3 years ago it became an issue, is because of them playing back here illegally, driving on the side of the mound.
So four-wheelers are gonna cause less leachate than thousands.
That's not what I said either. Stop
vehicles
putting words in
back
my
there?
mouth, please. Okay? You can say whatever you want, but let's just not put words in my mouth, okay?
I'm asking you a question, I'm not putting words.
You can't ask a question where you state
Then
something.
answer my question then.
They will be putting it at the top. We've already had it checked by Geotil. Everyone is agreeing that this is acceptable, including IDEM, who has given us verbal approval. But I said we need it written for Beech Grove, and we can't get it because we don't have any ownership in the property. It'd be like me asking, what's your taxes? And you're going to say, I'm not giving you my taxes.
How much have we spent on this property as owners of it?
I do not know that. I can find those answers, but I don't.
Well, I know we spent at least $120,000 planting grass seed on it when Sam Merle was taking care of the Parks Department.
But how long ago was that?
Well, it's
been quite a
while,
time, yeah.
But it's not brought us in any money.
Legal fees are the highest expense on this landfill right now.
Underneath it now.
I would, from a financial standpoint, I would be curious how much they're willing to offer, and also the roads with all the semis.
Get it off our books.
I mean, if you guys are worried about property taxes and our future, that seems silly to me to not get the best offer for that land possible. Especially when it is a liability, because I understand four-wheelers, they were driving, but four-wheelers are not as heavy as semi-trucks.
No, but
So
they tear up stuff when they start turning.
So do semis. Semis tear up streets
They're not going to
and
be on the side of the
infrastructure.
hill, though. This occurred.
But what about our streets is what I'm talking
occurred
about.
right here.
I'm not talking about the land, I'm talking about Subway and Emerson.
And again, we'll
Are
get
they-
the traffic study for you, but
And who's gonna pay to widen the streets?
we are.
You're gonna pay to widen our streets. That will be a commitment.
I
if you-
already stated that we're putting in a right turn lane all the way up for the hill, so that would allow
And to
vehicles-
repave and manage that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, I know there's a question about cost, Councilor Duffer. So, as I mentioned a few months ago, we retained Westler to do a study to fix all the issues that IDEM has out there, okay? All the letters that we get each year, okay? Mary Bucker was getting every year we got letters saying you've got to fix Leachate, the Grand Canyon, all the areas back there on our side of the property that we had to fix, okay? There's always been estimation. So we got that back a couple weeks ago. And the cost on that one is a little less than $600,000 to fix all the issues that IDEM says we must fix, okay? So we have that number. So that's what we need to do on our side. And I'm not sure about Morehouse's side, but that's just on our side itself, okay? That's what they're saying, to fix all the issues. Just to fix the leachate and the cap that's there right now is about $600,000.
So
And that's just a temporary thing, so the only real fix.
is that something Mr. Singh is willing to take on?
We've never had any of those conversations with them.
Well, sounds like
So,
they wanna have them.
That's not true. We
Well,
said
here-
we'd take care of what IDEM asked for. So if
I've never
IDEM asked for
spoken to
that.
you, I'm sorry. I got
James, Chris Badger.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm sorry. This is the first time
That's
I've
what
heard you exist. So.
Now we're friends.
Will we not have any
I just
kind
ask
of
a,
runoff?
Can I ask
of-
a question real quick? How much, how long have you owned it, and how much do you spend legally on it attorneys, and everything else every year?
I'd say several $1,000s. I can't speak to that
Hundreds
number.
of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
It's
We
not
do
a
not spend
thousand.
hundreds of
Yeah,
thousands.
it's
That's not true.
Misrepresentation, sir.
Every
You
year,
don't,
several thousands.
You don't know our
dollars.
financials,
no
and we're
idea
not
what
spending
you're talking
hundred
about.
thousands of dollars on a landfill.
Check your, how much legally do you spend? How much do you pay your?
I know how much our
back to
total
Carl.
legal budget is, and it's
Anyway,
not
so-
$100,000 for that.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, if he has the
Yeah.
IDM information, why don't we have the
I
IDM?
don't.
I have all
Yeah.
the IDEM.
Why can't,
We've never gotten it. We've asked for that.
Yeah.
We've never gotten
You've
that.
never
Ask
gotten any
who?
IDEM information?
This is the most contaminated piece of property in the city of Beech Grove, and the city of Beech Grove owns it. It's a liability, and it's not going away. We should be thanking him to even give us $1 for it to get us out from underneath the liability if he signs on to it.
okay,
Only-
let me clear
Our
something
roads
up
are
right
gonna
now.
cost more
Let me
money
clear
now.
something up.
The city's never been against it. We've been talking with Mr. Singh, we have, and Mr. Morehouse, we have, and we keep asking for information, and we're not getting that information. So that's why they're here. Again, if it came up as we're not giving information, maybe that's not our intent. We keep asking for things we're not getting them. So that's what our concern is.
Here's your latest letter, and you talk about just compensation, but you never, in this whole letter, state that you're willing to sell it to Mr. Singh.
That decision has not been made, and it cannot be made by this
So,
body.
so we're expected to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just so you
I
need to
just-
say yes or
And-
no?
And that's a fair statement, and I think we need, the city need, well, it's gonna be the RDC who decides whether the property is sold or not. I think that's a fair statement. I think we owe you guys an answer within a reasonable period of time.
Can the council vote for a non-binding resolution that says we are in favor of selling it?
I would, well, you do what you want, but
Yeah,
I would, Chris, I would hold off on that because I think there's a lot of misinformation that's going on about what the city's liability is moving forward. If we sell that property, we're not being absolved of liability. That's the issue. I've heard people say,
Is
well,
that
let's
accurate?
sell it and get out of the business. We're never out of the business as far as the environmental law goes. So, in other words, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, and I presented this situation, when we had the meeting with Manny. You know, let's say these guys go back there, and they have their project, and then there's a bunch of damage done to that cap, okay? And then, for whatever reason, the economy gets bad, the project's not profitable, and they walk away from it. It's not gonna be Manny's corporation that's gonna fix that, it's gonna come back on the city. And then the property's in a worse position than what it was at the time that we sold it. So, you know,
Craig, you're just proving what I said earlier. You want me to do all this work, you stated, and then tomorrow, you're already raising economy questions. You're predicting the future already, and that's what I'm afraid of about you. You coming back tomorrow, I spend all this money, and I still don't have a commitment because you're gonna go on
Manny,
economy,
Manny, I just said that
streets
the
being
city
ripped
owes you-
open, this is leaking, this is happening. That's why we need
yeah,
the commitment.
I think the city owes you, that's a fair statement, Manny. I think that should be done within a reasonable time period. I agree with that.
And that's all I'm here for, because since March, we've been like
Okay.
running in this circle about getting this and this and this. But again, there you go. All we need is a commitment.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking. We're not asking any
What I'm
funding.
saying- what
We're
I'm
not
saying
asking
you-
for any money. And yes, you're wrong about one thing. You will be relieved of every single money that's going towards this property because we will sign off. I was asked this at the last hearing. Yes, we will relieve you of every future expense coming to this property. Now,
do
I
that,
don't know
Manny.
what else has happened before.
You can't do that, sir. You can file bankruptcy, and then we're stuck with the property.
So you're still stuck with it now.
We don't have to worry about the roads.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
biggest question for me is, we're gonna put this up there and then have runoff of other fluids, diesels, hydraulic fluids, everything else that are also going down onto this property every time it rains.
Well, that's,
Are we adding to this? This seems like another problem that we would have.
Can I speak to that? I've already talked with Ido about it.
Okay.
There's two main areas that drain off this mound right now. One comes out this direction and one comes out this direction, so it's kind of southwest and northeast. Those would be, a perforated pipe would be put in there so that, I already told you, that this is all pervious, meaning that water can flow through it. So those are gonna be caught. We're gonna bring those over to what's called an aqua swirl, or actually I think it's an aqua filter, excuse me. it allows for hydrocarbons to be trapped, and we're not really looking for sediment. That's usually what an aqua swirl is versus an aqua filter pulls out hydrocarbons. So those would be installed, and then that water would end up going to the creek it goes to now.
So is that just laid on the surface then and then backfilled over, or are we having to disturb the ground?
No, we're not going to disturb the ground. We're only going to remove the grass seed you guys put down in the topsoil. So, and then after that, we're building it back up. So.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to figure out where the basins and stuff were going, and you know, if it's going on the top or
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
still going to be the same shape that the mound is right now. Will still be there, but it'll have a top that's pervious. It'll be gravel and pervious concrete.
Right. Yeah, I wrote down, you said remove 6 inches of topsoil.
So these would all go back to the same creek, which is having, which was IDEM's major concern, although the
Right.
creek tested pretty clean. So.
Right,
I mean,
after all
if you
these
think-
years.
Well, you know what this is right here, right?
Mhm.
It's big industry, and it's got a lot of leaching right into the creek. And you know what this is right here, right? Oxygen plant, or not that one, this is the one
That's
that
not-
uses ammonia. So you've got a lot of industry right here. So the amount that's coming off because of the trucks is pretty minor, but we're willing to clean it and use the current technologies we have, which is hydrocarbon
Right.
cleaning.
Well, I think the biggest concern I have is, you know, it's the ones at landfill, the other ones were not. So that's my biggest thing is we're you know, adding to something that we've been trying to clean and then adding weight that can cause, you know, other things to happen. That's
Absolutely.
my concern.
And we're looking at, and we have the experts at IDEM looking at it, we have Geotil looking at it, and as well as I have some experience as well with landfills.
Yeah, there's pages of violations against Jones and Indiana Oxygen at IDEM for their, you know, you can test that creek a quarter mile going south and you're gonna find residues of everything up through there, so. I agree with you, the little bit that the trucks might do, not even a drop in the bucket compared to those two.
And it's those things are gonna be run through gravel, so.
Absolutely.
Which will actually remove some of it because calcium.
Yeah.
So Craig, help me understand here, what, the people sitting up here represent the citizens of Beech Grove. And we've been dealing with this landfill for several years, it's cost us nothing but money. Can we the council make a non-binding resolution that says we are in favor of this project to get this property off of our books and get it owned by someone else?
I mean, the council can do anything it wants, Chris. You know, you can say anything you want. It doesn't bind the city.
Right.
But can I state for the community this process on how this is going to play out? I think there's there's a lot of misinformation going on. Like I said earlier, 3 years ago, IDEM denied this very same project or something very similar to it for breaching of the cap and the leachate that goes down to into that creek. You know, and they have the same idea. And right now, at least I thought that IDEM was in the process of trying to figure out whether they were going to approve this project. I haven't heard from them in 4 months. So we're gonna leave them alone and let them make their decision. So, you know, if there's been any representations made to this party or parties, that's news to me, and I'm gonna find out because I think the city needs to be kept informed of what's going on. But let me explain this process, folks. One, IDEM has got to approve the project. Okay, that's far from certain. Second, as part of a contractual agreement with the city of Indianapolis, there's a parks purposes clause, which says that the city's part, not Mr. Morehouse's, but the city's part of the landfill has to be used for a park purpose. Okay, we would have to go to the city of Indianapolis and ask them for relief from that provision for us if we thought about selling the property. Okay. That's far from certain too. I mean,
I talked to Mayor Dilk, and Mayor Dilk seems to think that Indianapolis would not care one way or another. They would give us permission in a minute.
Mayor Dilk was mayor 20 years ago. I mean, I think things have changed.
It's been going on this long.
For sure.
Yeah.
It has. It's been
so
going forever.
What I'm saying, I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's not certain.
We need to move forward to
And
help Mr. Singh
So-
Well,
get
can I
his.
can I please finish?
Yeah,
sir?
absolutely.
Okay, so that's going to take some time to do that. Next, since it's in a TIF district, it's got to go to the RDC. The RDC statutorily decides whether that property is sold or not. Bottom line, that's just it. It's not the council. So, you know, if they get 3 votes, whether, and then we got to decide whether, you know, do we give it to them? You know, deed the property to them for whatever, $1 or whatever, or do we sell it? And then after that process, they're going to have to come before this board and ask for a rezoning petition. And, you know, again, I don't know what they're going to be asking for, but we've talked to our consultant on some of the commitments that the city would want. You know, and it's been mentioned here this evening, you know, Subway's going to have to, there's going to have to be some infrastructure improvements. Subway's going to have to be widened. There's going to have to be a traffic study that was mentioned. You know, the city's not going to pay for that. And there's going to be a 4-way stop put at Subway, you know, to accommodate all those trucks coming in and out. And, you know, we've been told that could cost up to $1 million. Again, the city's not going to pay $1 million for those infrastructure improvements. On a property, folks, that's going to bring in $40,000 a year in tax dollars. It just doesn't make any sense for the city to do this.
How much has it brought in the last 20 years? I'd like to have that.
I would like to,
I
just
don't know.
from a financial, I'm just always thinking about our costs. I know that they're saying that they will always upkeep the roads. We have to widen the road, we have to put a 4-way stop. Elmwood is crumbling right now, and trucks go there all the time. And $40,000 does not put a dent in repaving, doesn't even put a dent in strip patching. So you got to think about that too, of sure, property taxes are great, and we need the property taxes, even though we just gave up $60,000 this evening. But you got to balance. I would urge you guys just to do some research on if the money we're getting in for property taxes will eventually, we're still going to be spending money.
At least you'd be paying compared to the concrete trucks that run our streets relentlessly and don't
I just
pay
said
a dime.
updating the streets and repaving.
And the way with Wilhelm's trucks that run our streets.
It's a
and,
city
you
street.
touted that, they don't pay a dime
Who?
to us. You know,
Wilhelm?
You know, you touted them over there, they don't pay anything to Beech Grove.
Well, they don't. They do.
They do?
Property taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
Well, absolutely. That whole entire facility is property tax.
okay.
So, Mayor,
So a couple things real quick.
Mayor,
So
can I finish, please?
yes,
Just one more thing.
because I know we've got to get going
Yeah,
on,
I
guys.
know. This is important, though. We've been doing this with this in Blandford for 15 years. The last thing is, the police haven't weighed in on this issue. This council denied a similar request on a different property, you know, parking semis. Yeah, you know, I imagine the police will have a say on whether they think it's a good idea, whether it'll attract, you know, criminal activity at that property. So, you know, it's going to take some time. This is not going to, if it goes to its fruition, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time for us. And assuming we can get them to commit to pay for the infrastructure improvements, the city, it doesn't make sense for the city to pay for those.
Yeah.
And, you know, one last thing, and again, I've heard this up here several times. Let's just get out of the business and sell it. It just doesn't work that way, guys. You know, we're always going to be on the hook. We're always going to be jointly and severally liable, meaning that they can come after any party that's solvent. The city's going to be solvent. They're going to come after the city. You know, Manny said that, you know, essentially that he'll guarantee, you know, but if he files for bankruptcy, guys, it comes back on the city. The city's going to be solvent. And then we're going to have to go back there and fix all the damage that's been done. It's going to be in a worse position than what we did.
So what are we gonna do with it?
So
that's a
couple
good question, Chris.
So something I'd like to say first, okay? I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. So we've been talking for a few months here, okay? And if there's miscommunication from my office to yours, I apologize. It was my understanding that you guys were going to get a letter from IDEM. And I think Mr. Morris would even agree. I've said that a few times, hey, Donnie, we're still waiting on that letter from IDEM. And you've even agreed. I'll talk to Manny. We haven't gotten that. If you need us to reach out on IDEM, we can do that. I'll do that 100%. I thought you were going to take care of that. So we'll do that, okay? The second thing is, when we met with you back in March, the renderings have completely changed, okay? So the renderings we saw showed 240 semi-trucks, and this one shows how many? Three what? Okay. And then also you had a couple ancillary buildings, an office building, shower and bathroom stalls, buildings up front. So that's all.
Item asked us not to have any buildings on it at all.
Okay, so yeah, so that, like I said, if I could get a copy of those, that would be helpful, because I did not know they were changing, okay, and that's gonna change a little bit, that's helpful to know that, because we weren't aware that all the plans were changing. This is not like what we were presented back in March, okay? So if I could get that from you, that'd be helpful. But we'll reach out on your behalf, or our behalf to IDEM, to see what they say about us, parking the semi trucks there. And I'd be happy to do that, but it was my understanding that you needed the letter to do the drilling, and then the letter saying that we're entertaining the idea, but we will work with IDEM, and we'll call them. Got, yeah, real quick, and then we've got to go, I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay, so-
Mr. Morehouse.
Yeah, I just want you to know, on the previous gentleman that tried to buy the property, he did not invest in what Manning's done on this amount of background on that property. The drilling, this is more intense. Everything about it's more. Now, second of all, we're all over the board on where we're at. What did we come here for tonight? To find out if we can get a letter of intent. Yes, Beech Grove will do what they need to do to let Mr. Manning acquire that property. Now, as far as who's liable if something happens to his business or whoever, y'all gonna get it back anyway. If Ronnie and I said the heck with it and walked away, it's all yours. So, you can't use that, because whoever contributed to that landfill is always responsible. This is your best shot for the most liable person around to take care of it.
Well, the only way to make it not a liability is to clean it up, completely clean it
Right.
up. Gut it and clean it up, and that, I'm sure
There
it takes a lot of money. The other thing I'd like to ask the engineer, do you know if there's any studies or any similar type of something like this on another like landfill? Do you have any idea if there's?
I can get you information on
Yeah.
that if you'd like. And there's also been homes put on landfills, there's been lots of things.
With
done.
this, with the same type of what we're dealing with underneath this particular one, the same?
Nothing's exactly the
Oh,
same, I
know,
won't be able
know
to tell
that,
you,
but-
but
yeah.
I can show you where landfills have been built on for trucking and large vehicle, but I can give you that information.
My only concern is, will it impact the citizens in any way? Is there a negative impact on the citizens, other
I
than?
guess the attorney says that the cops are gonna have
Traffic.
runs out
Well,
there,
you-
which
you'd
I.
have to ask. I mean,
But
you'd
our
have to ask
parks are
residents
having
out there.
cops running out there now,
Right.
aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's that, there's the traffic.
You'd have to ask the nearby residents. It is close to residential, so you'd have to ask them if that's something that they're interested in. But they go through the same process, similar to what happened tonight with the rezone. They would receive a letter once it got to that point, but.
If you look up and down, you can see that there's not a lot of houses or anything else, it's all industry around us.
The whole bottom corner.
Mayor, can I address Chris's
Which is
question,
right
please,
next
real
to it.
quick?
Yes.
So Chris, there have been some proposals. One would be to make it a park, to put a greenway back there. I think that's an excellent
If you go to the
idea.
comprehensive plan you just approved, that you all just approved, that's the goal of that plan is to make it that. Go ahead, Greg.
No, so there are some suitable uses for that property, and.
Dog park money.
Are we
Yeah.
about ready to move on?
Yes.
Yeah, we need
Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to make a
So-
resolution.
A resolution?
A
It'd
non-binding
be a
resolution.
non-binding resolution.
And they can't use that resolution, right, as a commitment to the
We can
city?
still vote
I know
on
you
it.
can, I just
Yeah.
don't want the
Yeah.
Manning
So
to
it's not
think
a
he can
commitment.
use
It's
that.
not a commitment by the city.
It shows direction.
I would like to
Because
make
the RDC and the Board
a
of Works are actually.
non-binding resolution that says the council is in favor of assisting Mr. Singh in acquiring this property and completing this project.
Hold on a second,
And I'll
assisting,
second
I don't know what that means.
I
What
can't.
do you
Pardon
mean by
me?
assisting?
Getting him the letter that he needs so that he can check with IDEM. Is
Saying-
that what you're
saying
talking
So
about?
you don't want me to
Mr.
check with IDEM anymore then, Chris?
It'd be great.
Well, I
if you
will.
did.
You guys to work.
Whatever facilitates.
Yeah,
And
and
completing
that's what I
this
said.
project.
So it was my understanding that they were working on it, but I guess they want us to do that now. So I can do that. That's what's completely changed. So I'd be happy to do that.
It's not, really
So,
what's going on,
um,
IDEM will not write a third-party letter.
Yeah.
It won't write one to Mr. Singh
Yeah.
that says,
Well, that's fine, yeah.
Beach
And I
Grove's
didn't know that.
property.
I didn't know that. So that's like I
We
said.
tried to
neither
have,
one- yeah.
we tried to have them do it, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I didn't know that you guys, that they said no to you
We'll
guys. So
love
thank
to-
you for letting me know. I'll be happy to do that.
Yes, we'll just ask for a letter, but we would like to handle the testing, not Craig, so he doesn't tell him I'm gonna go bankrupt one day. So we would
The
like
test,
to
well,
handle that part.
well, I didn't want to do the testing.
Right.
It'd be a third party.
We already have.
Okay, yeah.
There's a motion and I second it.
Well,
and-
hold on a second, I don't
can't vote
understand.
So you
I don't
can't-
understand. I don't understand what commitment the council on a non-binding resolution
A
wants to make.
non-binding means you can't make a commitment.
Correct, I don't understand what the commitment the council, or the council.
Are you just want to show a,
In support.
show a voice
You could-
favor?
we say.
You could do what you did with the boys contract, which is you did not approve it, but you said that you would support it. You didn't do a resolution, you didn't do a vote, but each of you said, I would support this if it gets to the point where you have input. Like,
Yes.
that's how you did the boys
So how
contract.
should I word that?
Well, I would support if we make sure all the legal parts in
That's
line.
correct. And that's
And
what
the
we've been working on.
IDEM, so if you work on that, we don't need the resolution. If you
I don't-
just
Right.
do that, we don't
Exactly, that's why, I think we should let the, yep.
communicate and get back on track with it.
I agree.
But Chris, if you guys wanna make a motion in a second, the council to vote on
If
it.
that doesn't happen, then we can do a
I
resolution.
just don't understand, again, what, are you saying that the city will give the property to them for free? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's just, I think he's saying,
I'm saying that the city will
Provide them what they need.
facilitate what
Yeah.
they need.
Work hand in hand.
Information
to get
wise?
this to be resolved.
Yes.
information wise.
Yes.
And get the city out
They
there.
provide what they need information wise. I don't know.
I just don't legally that wouldn't hold up. I don't know.
It's non-binding regardless of it.
Yeah, I mean, they
So
can state their, you guys can like
You
vote
can
to
state
say,
your
yes,
support
I
and say-
personally
yeah.
as a council member support it, but I don't know
You
if
can
they
say
can
your
use
public
that.
support of it.
Well, I want the citizens to know that we are in favor of trying to get out from underneath this landfill that costs us money and make it into something useful.
To support
But again-
360 semi-trucks parked there.
Yeah, but again, we're not getting
On that
out from
industrial
under
side of
anything,
town, I mean,
that's just the thing.
there's nothing pretty over there anyway, you know.
The new animal
His
shelter's kinda
rendering
pretty.
has nice landscaping all around it.
With the dog.
So how should I word
I
it,
don't know
Craig?
that we
I'm not, I don't know what you're trying, so.
I think you each individually could state your position,
Yeah, you can do that.
and that way the citizens know what your position is,
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. You make a record of what your position is.
and
How
we'll
about
put
that?
it in the record.
All right. I'm in favor of the city trying to assist Mr. Singh
Yep.
in doing this project.
I also am in favor of that.
I'm in favor of a better communication so that two parties can work together and make sure they follow the proper legal, whether it be environmental issues. But clearly, there's a lot of miscommunication, and clearly, there's a lot of not getting on the same page. That's what I want.
Correct. And just for the record, so that there was
That's
a lot
what
of
I want.
communication, so that's when we all decided, let's just let the attorneys handle it. City attorney and Mr. Singh's attorney.
Well, if we can find a
And then that
pathway that IDEM is
Yeah.
gonna support, and it would be without us having any legal future issues with it, and that, because I just don't know the law, and I'm not gonna say I support something unless we've got the proper people guiding us, yeah.
And I'm gonna have to abstain because I just don't have enough information either way on anything, so.
Well, I'm saying the city works with him, yes. I'm in agreement with Council.
Davis?
I pretty much agree with everything that's been said, and as far as the legal ramifications, and as long as it has no negative impact on the citizens.
And I support Councilor Duffer's motion, just to make sure that we work with Mr. Singh and get him what he needs.
All right, thank you. All right, no problem. All right, public comment continues.
Can we forego these letters? I've got 5 pages of them. I know there's some people in the audience that do. Everybody, I think, understands.
I think only a
We're
few.
either for or
And then
against.
we'll just list the letters out loud for the record. So we're gonna start with public comment. We have people who signed up to speak. We're gonna start with them.
Right, Brandon Marks. Again, please be respectful, over 3 minutes. Of course.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Brandon Marks. There's been a lot of back and forth tonight, but I want to give you something a little more straightforward, which is data. This is in regards to the DORA. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak today about an issue that affects not only those struggling with addiction, but also families, children, and our entire community. I am against the DORA, and here's why. Recovery, youth perception of risk. Recovery is not simply about stopping substance use. It is about rebuilding a life. For many people in recovery, repeated exposure to alcohol can become a significant obstacle to maintaining that new life. JAMA Psychiatry, which is an academic journal published by the American Medical Association that covers research in psychiatry, mental health, and behavioral science, published a journal in 2022 that analyzed studies, over 230 studies involving more than 51,000 participants, found that exposure to substance-related cues was associated with more than double the odds of future substance use or relapse. These cues include seeing alcohol or drugs, witnessing others using them, or being in environments where they are present. The researchers concluded that these cues are one of the strongest and most consistent predictors of relapse across many types of substance use disorders. Now, I'm not a gambler myself, but over double the odds, I would not bet my money on that. This issue also extends beyond adults in recovery. Young people learn from the environments around them. Decades of public health research have shown that when alcohol use is highly visible and normalized, youth are more likely to view drinking as a low risk or even expected behavior. Those perceptions influence future decisions, including when they begin drinking and how much they consume once they do. Earlier initiation of alcohol use is consistently associated with a greater risk of developing alcohol-related problems later in life. According to the most recent Indiana Youth Survey, which our Beech Grove youth participated in 2024, nearly 1/3 of youth across all grades from 6th to 12th grade perceived a low risk of harm with alcohol use. Where do you think that number will be when public consumption of alcohol is normalized? And believe it or not, this number has decreased immensely due to the programs and initiatives of the Beech Grove Drug-Free Coalition, which our current organization, our mayor, and members of this council have backed for years. Approval of this DORA would be a major setback in the outcomes that this partnership has achieved over the years. I want you all to ask yourselves this question and truly think about how it aligns with your moral obligation to the city. Are we truly willing to place a higher value on potentially earning a couple $1,000s a year than the overall health and well-being of our community members? Every decision we make as a community sends a message. It sends a message to the father celebrating 1 year of sobriety. It sends a message to the teenager deciding what is considered normal. And it sends a message to every family hoping their loved one can continue their recovery journey. Our goal should be to thoughtfully consider how public exposure to alcohol and other substances affect those that are most vulnerable. People fighting every day to remain in recovery, and young people whose perceptions are still being formed. By creating environments that reduce unnecessary exposure to substance use, we can support recovery, protect youth, and promote a healthier community for everyone.
Mr. Marks.
I implore you all to vote no for the DORA. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Jennifer Marks? Jennifer Marks?
Is there a Gabriel Price on there? Is there a Gabriel Price on there?
Yes.
Yes. He prepared something for you.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Price. I am 9 years old and I have lived in Beech Grove my whole life. Each year, my school participates in a National Red Ribbon Week pledge where we make a promise to ourselves to stay healthy, live drug-free, and encourage our neighbors to do the same. Since it started in 1988, millions of kids my age have made this pledge. I feel that these promises should be made by you too, As leaders of our community, if you agree with what I say next, please answer by saying we do. We promise to help the kids in our community grow up safe, healthy, and drug-free. If so, say we do.
We do.
By supporting programs and activities that help young people make good choices. If so, say we do.
We do.
By being good role models and showing kindness, honesty, and respect. If so, say we do.
We do.
By working together with schools, families, churches, and other community leaders to help kids succeed. If so, say we do.
We do.
By putting the safety and well-being of children first in the decision we make. If so, say we do.
We do.
You have now promised to do your part to make our community a place where every child can learn, grow, and have a bright future. Thank you for keeping my safety and the safety of my friends the most important part of your decision by voting no for the DORA.
Thank you, young man. Thank you.
That took a lot of courage for him to do that, so thank you for letting him speak.
3 minutes, please.
Good evening, council members. I'm standing before you tonight to address the General Ordinance 2, 2026. I generally want to see our local businesses flourish, and I support responsible downtown development. However, my focus tonight is not on the Main Street, but on a severe legal conflict regarding DORA number 2 within Sarah T. Bolton Park. It is my civic duty to stand and speak when an ordinance contains a loophole that compromises the safety of our town. Our community's foundation cannot be built on rushed legislation. We do not oppose change, but we oppose change that is not properly planned and thoroughly vetted. If you look closely at Section 4 of this ordinance, it states that notwithstanding Section 99.04, the provisions of this section shall control within the boundaries of DORA number 2. By including this blanket notwithstanding clause, the ordinance completely suspends our existing park protections. According to Beech Grove City Code Section 99.04, subsection D strictly makes it unlawful to be intoxicated or under the influence of alcohol in any public park. By completely overriding Section 99.04 during DORA hours, this ordinance accidentally strips away the primary local mechanism our police department uses to cite or arrest individuals for public intoxication inside Sarah T. Bolton Park. Many of our local police officers have already voiced their concerns regarding the immense challenges they face in getting our county prosecutor to hold people accountable at that level. Passing DORA number 2, as written, will only make our officers' jobs exponentially harder. We are handing law enforcement a contradictory mandate: maintain order in a family park while simultaneously dismantling the very statutory authority they need to enforce sobriety and public safety within it. This issue cuts to the core of how we protect the next generation. It is vital that we maintain safe spaces, our children, and create clear, distinct boundaries in our community. Being a voice for our youth is not about putting them in a bubble. It's about teaching them to have healthy, respectful boundaries within our society. We expect our students to pledge to be drug and alcohol free just to participate in school sports. What kind of messaging do we send when we actively vote to suspend public intoxication laws in the very park where they play? I want a Beech Grove that protects and supports everyone, from the legacy of heroes like Officer Tony and Officer Elliott to the kids in our schools, the vulnerable residents quietly fighting a daily battle to stay clean and recovery. Let us not shift the protective boundaries that have kept our parks a safe sanctuary for decades. Therefore, I strongly urge this council to vote against the current ordinance as it's currently written. I ask that you amend the legislation to completely exclude Sarah T. Bolton Park going forward. Let us protect our park, protect our law enforcement, and preserve the unique family-friendly identity that makes Beech Grove home. I'll leave you with the words of Proverbs 22:8. Do not move an ancient boundary stone set up by your ancestors. Thank you for your time and consideration and dedication to our community.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I have to, I'm sorry, I have to respond to that. The city council cannot suspend a criminal statute. It's
Right.
just not possible. So,
Right.
you know, the police can come in and arrest anybody they want if they're publicly intoxicated. So that's just an incorrect statement of the law. So I just want to make sure the community knew that.
Speak up. Speak up, sir.
I did. What didn't you hear?
We can't hear back.
I'm sorry. What I said is that that was an incorrect statement of the law. A city council, through a civil ordinance, cannot suspend a criminal law. So in other words, if somebody is publicly intoxicated in a park, that does not prevent our police from making an arrest. That's just clearly not the case. So I just wanted to make that clear.
And it's also illegal for children to drink as well, still, no matter what we say.
Well, like she said, it was alcohol not permitted in it at all, and we're overriding our own, let's talk Brooks now.
Who's next?
Yeah. Diane Hendricks?
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diana Hendricks, and you all know who I am already. I was going to ask for more time, but I know we're running really late, but I would appreciate it if I could have some for the coalition.
I'd make a motion to give you more time as being our drug czar here for Beech Grove. I would certainly like to hear what you have to say.
I second the motion.
How much extra time? 5 minutes instead of 3?
10 minutes, give her.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I am speaking tonight regarding the proposed ordinance to establish a designated outdoor refreshment area on Main Street in Sarah T. Bolton Park. While I understand the intent to stimulate our local economy and support downtown businesses, I am deeply concerned by the total lack of data, projected budget, and formal safety and emergency plan. A 4-3 vote on the first reading shows how divided our community and this council are on this issue. Passing a sweeping change to our public alcohol laws without concrete projections is fiscally and operationally irresponsible. Specifically, I ask the council to please pause and require the mayor and city department heads to answer 4 critical questions before taking final vote. 1, where are the metrics? We have been given no projections on estimated foot traffic, expected revenue, or food and beverage tax increases. We should not alter our community's public spaces based on guesswork. As Mayor Kaufman stated during our June meeting, it will bring in increased foot traffic, we hope. When did hope move into the metric system? Metrics are 0 to infinity, right? Hope is alphabetic. When did hope become a metric? I've never seen it in the metric area. What is the true cost to taxpayers? We are told this will not burden city operations. However, increased crowds and trash require municipal resources without a projected budget. How can we guarantee the sanitation and code enforcement costs won't quietly fall on Beech Grove taxpayers, who are already taxed overburdened? Was a clear sanitation plan provided that shows city trash bins placed at all exits that are required for the location for easy disposal of the door cups? Was a clear enforcement plan provided to show guard to guest ratio for events serving alcohol? For example, Marion County and the city of Indianapolis police departments typically require a baseline of 1 certified guard per 50 to 100 guests in open container environments, since they are at higher risk of violence. At the June meeting, Chief Maurice informed me that he would be dedicating 1 police officer to the Main Street DORA. We are told the DORA ordinance would not be an additional cost to taxpayers. I want to break down the cost of just 1 officer on Main Street for the proposed DORA ordinance timeframe from Memorial Day to Labor Day, approximately 16 weeks. That would be 10 hours for Thursday and Friday, 20 for Saturday and Sunday. That's 30 hours per week. The cost of this officer to taxpayers, depending on their pay scale, would be anywhere from $17,736 to $20,333 for that 16-week period. Now, if you consider the ratio, and you've got to add in more police, say you have to have 5 for a night because you've got 500, 600 people maybe on the street, you're looking at somewhere around $88,680 to $101.66 and $665 for the 6-week period for those officers. And we are told we're not going to be paying more money. Have you considered that as our councils? You know, I mean, where's that money coming from? Because they've showed you no budget, they've showed you no metrics. There is nothing that we have to show that we're going to support this. This is our tax dollars. And they promised it would not be touched. So, has the City Council considered the likelihood that Beech Grove Police Department will need to request an increase in its budget to provide security for the DORA? If so, would represent an additional financial burden on Beech Grove taxpayers, despite previous assurances by our clerk treasurer that the DORA would not result in increased costs to taxpayers. For that reason, it is essential to establish clear performance metrics and a realistic projected budget demonstrating that the Main Street area and Sarah T. Bolton Park can generate sufficient revenue to sustain the DORA and its associated expenses prior to voting on this DORA ordinance. Taxpayers should not be expected to absorb costs for security or other operational needs. Operational needs if the mayor and city department heads cannot show that the DORA will be fiscally self-sustaining, as the clerk treasurer has stated many times. Where is the emergency of safety plan? Okay, I'm still very stressed. I know I sound upset, and I am. Until you have a shooting in front of your home, you don't know how you're going to feel. And July 3rd was that shooting. And then till 2 o'clock in the morning, we had a crime scene in front of my house. And as Police Chief Mercury stated when he was on the news, he stated that when we have events now, unfortunately, it seems to happen. You've always got that certain group of people that are going to show up, okay? I'm shaking. I am stressed. My neighbors are the same way. Because until you have it in front of your house, you don't know how you feel. What if a stray bullet went into my home, my neighbor's home? We got lucky with this one that there was minimal hurt. You know how far away that shooting was from where you want that DORA? You want to know how far? About 10 yards. That's it. 10 yards. And that can take place. And who are you inviting in? Who's the increased foot traffic? Those people that were at that park are those increased foot traffic. And look at Greenwood, the 16-year-old who pulled out a gun and started shooting because he didn't get served alcohol. These young kids. What do we have in our city for youth? Do we have any programs for youth right now for prevention? No, we have none. But by golly, let's get our perspective straight. Let's put alcohol in the park and on Main Street instead of putting something out in our community that are going to help these youth. How are we going to help them? Those youth are not from Beech Grove. I attached to this 2 pages of shootings that have taken place in Beech Grove, and this is not comprehensive. This is what I could find over the past, since 2010 to 2026. There are so many youth in here from Beech Grove that has shot. So we can't say our youth are not people who are shooting the guns also. It is happening. Have you got an emergency plan? Have you got a safety plan? Because I'll tell you what, until a bullet starts getting shot like that in your neighborhood, you don't know how you're going to feel. And we got to protect our city. Your job is to protect our city. It is to protect our city, and it is to protect our residents, and it is to protect our businesses. And nowhere have they presented you with metrics, business plan, anything to show that it's going to do that. Nowhere. We put you in office to protect us, to keep us safe, and to be fiscally responsible with our money. They have provided nothing that will enable that to happen. Nothing. City Council, as a citizen, business owner, and the Drug Free Coalition founder and director, I implore you to uphold your responsibility to your constituents through the utmost fiscally conservative practices, sound decision-making, as well as the most informed stewardship of our tax dollars. The residents of Beech Grove voted each of you into office to guarantee that these accountabilities are held to the highest standard. I wanted to take time and due diligence to conduct my own research before forming an opinion on the proposed DORA ordinance, which is what our department head should have done. Indiana has 569 incorporated municipalities. According to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, only 52 municipalities have adopted a DORA, and those communities are publicly listed by city. I then researched municipalities that considered but ultimately rejected a DORA ordinance. I stopped after identifying approximately 150 communities that had chosen not to move forward, almost triple those cities that adopted. While online meeting minutes and news articles documented the reasons for rejection, I personally contacted officials in 30 of those municipalities to better understand their decision-making process. The same concerns were raised repeatedly. First, many communities concluded that the projected economic benefits simply did not justify the cost. In several cases, the financial projections were incomplete or failed to demonstrate a positive return on investment. Second, municipalities expressed concern that the proposed DORA boundaries could not be effectively secured without hiring significant additional security personnel, multiple uncontrolled entry and exit points, increased enforcement challenges that would add ongoing operational costs. Finally, and perhaps the most importantly, many local leaders said they valued preserving a family-friendly downtown environment. They believed their community identity, local events, and quality of life were better served without implementing a DORA. Rather than viewing DORA as an economic necessity, they concluded that maintaining a welcoming, family-oriented atmosphere was a stronger, long-term investment. I encourage the council to carefully weigh not only the experiences of communities that have adopted a DORA, but also the much larger number of municipalities that studied the issue and decided against it. Those decisions were often based on financial analysis, public safety considerations, and desire to preserve the character of their communities, not opposition to economic development. My intent is not to oppose downtown growth or support for local businesses. Rather, it is to encourage a decision based on complete data, realistic financial projections, public safety planning, and the long-term vision our community has for itself. I respectfully ask the council to consider whether the DORA ordinance has proven it will be self-sustaining and it will truly align with our community's values, priorities, identity before moving forward. Your signatures in support of this economic impact ordinance writes it into law. Have you requested the mayor and city department heads to do their due diligence so you can make the best informed decision? Because if something happens, and I'm telling you it will, right now DORAs do not have a reporting system. That's where they failed. That's where they failed communities. There's no reporting system to report incidents. That's why there's no incidents reported at DORAs. There's not one. So all they put down is the address of where it was at, right? How do we know if there's been any incidents in DORAs? We don't. They realized that was a misstep when they put legislation together for this, okay? When you sign this, they've already stated that they are not responsible. You sign this without your due diligence, making them do their due diligence, you're the ones all fingers are going to be pointed at when something happens. And if you look at that list, that's not comprehensive, that I gave you on already gun violences that's happened in this city, and you look at what's happening around us, and look what happened in front of my house that all of us are still trying to work through. And until you have it, I seen it on TV, we've all seen it on TV where gunshots have been in people's houses, how upset they were. And I've had empathy for them, but never more than what I feel right now. Because I can tell you right now, I just want to scream, and all of us do. Because it scares the hell out of you when the bullets are around your house and you know they could easily be misfired into your home. So take that into consideration, take our children, take everything. We got lucky during the shooting. A foot got shot, a couple of grazies, we got lucky. But if it comes down to these DORAs, and we don't have enough security, and we don't have no fences around us like Greenwood had, and what was the first thing he said? He said we had adequate security, and now we're going to have to look at putting detectors in, maybe detect guns. Representative Lamping, Councilwoman Lamping said it best, open carry, open container. You cannot control it. And we proved that the other night. We didn't even have an open container yet. That was supposed to be a drug-free event. What's going to happen when you add alcohol? We all know it's a depressant, and we also all know that violence comes with alcohol. It just does. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bill Carpenter.
Thank you, councilors. It's nice to see some of you that I remember years ago. And I'll tell you right now, I don't hardly need to speak after these mama bears have come forward and spoken. But I'll say a few words, try to keep them short. My name is William Carpenter, and I have been a resident and a property owner still of Beech Grove for 45 years. And I served on the city council many years ago. And I've pastored several churches, associate pastor of Independent Nazarene Church. As you all know, we lost our church in a fire. And I've been pastor also on 4th Street, Pilgrim Wesleyan Church. It's been there had been there for 80 years. So I have a great interest in Beech Grove, and I've always shared with others what a wonderful town this was. You could turn your children loose. I don't know as much today because I'm up in nearly 80, but you could turn your children loose to walk the streets at night and feel pretty safe. I hope it continues that way. I'm in favor of the revitalization efforts of our city, but I'm not in favor of this proposed designated refreshments. That's a nice word, refreshments. I don't know how that refreshes you, but refreshment called DORA. I don't believe that this ordinance will improve conditions in Beech Grove. I have a question. Does this DORA improve Beech Grove? Does this improve the image and the condition of our city, allowing outdoor consumption of alcohol on our street? We have ample amount of businesses in Beech Grove that provide such activity of consumption out of sight in their businesses. We don't need it on our streets. I believe this will create more problems. Now, these ladies have ably expressed the problems. Two problems I just wrote down, as already been mentioned, we'll need more police surveillance, presence, and that's without a doubt. And then the negative influences, which they have already mentioned, the negative influence that is upon our teenagers. It's okay for so-and-so to walk around and drink, and you won't be having people checking, see how old they are. So it's going to create a problem. And I might mention that our President of the United States is a teetotaler, for he has been affected by alcohol so badly when he was in his family that he said, no drinking at all for me. That also goes for Warren Buffett, I saw. He doesn't partake. The statistics and studies indicate, the little that I've researched, that alcohol is involved anywhere in 40 to 60% of violence and family abuse in the U.S. and in Indiana. Think about that. It is noted by the Department of Health that alcohol use creates higher rates of life-threatening. We've seen that. It's just happened just in our city. Threatening injuries, and even plays a big part in homicides and emotional and parental abuse. Why do we as a community, it's often been referred to for years, a bedroom community, why do we as a city want to promote such activity when we know that the risk entails such danger? I quickly conclude this. Why promote, counselors, such activity? Proverbs 21, you expected me to say this. Wine is a mocker, and a beer is a brawler, and whoever is led astray by them is not wise. Proverbs 23:32. It at last biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Proverbs 23, who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babblings? Who hath wounds? Who hath without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine. My father was a teetotaler, and he told me when I was a young boy, he said, son,
6 minutes, sir. You've been going for 6 minutes, so please wrap up.
the way you could prevent being an alcoholic and hurting yourself, never take your first drink.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Thanks, sir.
Again, we're approaching 10 o'clock, and we've got quite a few still, so please be respectful of our time. Susan McMillan?
Long-winded preacher for you.
Pardon me?
Long-winded preacher. I said, that's a long-winded
I know,
preacher
sir.
for you.
I know. We should give you,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Hello, counselors. I know you all know who I am. I'm Susie McMillan. Lived in Beech Grove almost my entire life. Own a business on Main Street that I've had for 29 years. Love this city. My first question to all of you would be, what do you want this community to be known as? I mean, and I hate going back to this, but when Daniel was in office, for example, I know the website boasted our parks and kids playing, and it said family-friendly community. So then we get Miss Stratton in, and it goes dark, and it says City of Beech Grove, and it's got her coffee shop or whatever she had, and it was kind of gothic looking, honestly.
It was nighttime.
But besides that going on, I want to know, do you want this community to be known as a family-friendly community, as it always has been, or do you want it to be known as more party? Hey, you want to drink on Main Street, or you want to walk around and drink wherever you want and drink in the parks, have a good time? Is that what we want to be known as? Because I think you guys need to make a decision. What do you want this city to be? What do you want us to be known as? And then I also read some emails from Mass Avenue, which I'm quoting third party, or however you guys want to say it. But I know that they looked into getting a DORA, and they ended up refusing it for very good reasons. They talked about they didn't want vomit on the streets. They didn't want people urinating on the streets. They went on and on about all the things. I even went to Speedway, where I spoke to 3 different bar owners or people that were working in the bar that said, don't do it. That was in Speedway who has it. Fountain Square does not have one. Broad Ripple does not have one. Has anybody even looked into these community or people to ask them why they don't have them? But anyway, I don't understand the drive or the push. How does it make things better for people to walk from one bar to another? We have, 12 alcohol licenses here in Beech Grove? How does that make it better for people to walk from, for example, O'Gara's to Fifth Avenue Grill, and then to that what's that other bar called right there, catty corner across the street? Silver Bullet. And you know, how does it make it better to let people walk around and drink on Main Street? I just don't get what the attraction is for it. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, Brandon's not here anymore, okay. I guess we got Matt Anderson.
Hello, councilors. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My name is Matt Anderson. I've been a resident in Ryan Matkins District for about 22 years as a homeowner. I saw the replay of the original 6-1 hearing or city council meeting, and I was a bit surprised that a few people mentioned they were worried about people getting drunk and stumbling up and down Main Street or in the park during events. I don't think the drunks that are going to stumble up and down Main Street are waiting for Dora, but they might be. I've never seen a drunk stumble up and down Main Street. While I understand and support people who don't drink or go to bars, the vast majority of patrons are not stumbling out of Beach Grove bars and restaurants. Many go to a bar or restaurant to have a meal and a drink and simply be social. Passing Dora would give these patrons the opportunity to also enjoy other businesses, not bars necessarily, on Main Street to participate in Dora. I think this would give Beach Grove be able to showcase itself to a wider audience, which I think most of us agree Beach Grove sorely needs. To learn about other cities that have implemented Dora, I did a little research online, which I'm hearing a lot of people say, I don't want it, I don't want it. All these communities have not supported it or not done it, and that's generally because their city councils, like we're discussing right now, denied it. I went ahead and did some research on some cities that currently have Dora. In a press release dated February 10th, 2025, the city of Greensburg posted its state of the city on their website. Mayor Joshua Walsh stated, Dora has been utilized in all of our downtown hosted events in 2024 and has been a resounding success, enhancing events and fostering a sense of community while supporting local businesses. In an article in the Muncie Journal dated November 15th, 2024, Rose Selvey, a member of the Muncie City Council, said, this has been a great step forward in making our city more dynamic, enjoyable place to live, work, and play. We're creating a sense of community by bringing people together with initiatives like this. In a Fox 59 article from May of 2025, Grant Kleinhelds, city manager for Speedway, Indiana, said, Speedway hasn't had any problems with the Dora. I don't think Dora is going to bring thousands of dollars to to Beach Grove. I would bet $1 we'll never see 500 people on the streets for a Dora event. But I think it will help local businesses. I think it'll help bring people to our city to showcase it a bit. And if the city council passes Dora and it proves detrimental, my understanding is there's mechanisms inside the proposal to kill the event, to kill it. So if it doesn't work, I say kill it. I would like, well, if there's not something in there, there should be. I was told there was, and I apologize, I haven't read it. I support the passage of Dora, and I'm going to respect your clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It can be repealed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have Micah Mosier.
Thank you, council. I'm Mitch Mosier. I help pastor Life Church here in Beech Grove. And my two sons, actually their wives also, work with a program in the school called Power of Choice. And they come home at times and they tell me, they say, Dad, the example that these young people are getting is not good. And they came to me and they said, Dad, thank you for being a good example to us. Now, as a dad and as a grandfather now, I protect my children. Even though they're grown, I still protect them. Now I'm watching them protect their children by screening what they are exposed to. I think you need to ask yourself this question. Do we want to give an example to the community that is not good, that would influence children? And I always looked at the examples that were put in front of my children. And I'm not bragging, but I am very proud of all 4 of my children. I'm proud of their spouses, and now I'm proud of their grandchildren. They do very, very well because of the examples that were put before them. Consider the example that this Dora will do. I oppose it. When my wife and I were first married 39 years ago, we contacted the Indianapolis Zoo, and they contacted us about an annual membership, and I told them no, because at that time they were putting the beer carts on the corners, and I said no, we're not going to renew it. The director of the zoo contacted us back and removed those. I want a family-friendly community, and I always look at communities to go to that are family-friendly and that provide a good example to my children and to my grandchildren. So I leave you with this. Consider what kind of example you want to put forth in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Paige Moblin? Sorry if I got your name wrong. Last name. Did I get it?
Hi, thank you, Council, for letting me speak this evening. My name is Paige Maudlin. I am a new business owner at Moonlit Vine Bookstore and Wine Bar here in Beech Grove. I just opened a couple weeks ago, so it's been a very fun adventure for me. And when I decided to open my business, I chose Beech Grove because I saw the potential that Main Street had. I believe this downtown has the opportunity to become a vibrant destination where people gather, shop, dine, and support local businesses. And I wanted to be a part of that growth, and that's why I'm here tonight in support of the Dora. The Dora isn't just about businesses that serve alcohol. It's about creating a walkable downtown where people spend more time, visit multiple businesses, and support our local economy. When people stay longer, everybody benefits from that. From the restaurants, the retailers, and all the small shops like mine. It encourages foot traffic that might not otherwise happen, bringing new customers through our doors and increasing visibility for businesses that rely on spontaneous visits. It also creates opportunities for collaboration between businesses, such as shared events, promotions, partnerships, and strengthens the entire business community. I also understand that some people have concerns about what this could mean for the kids and the families. It's important to remember that Dora does not change existing laws. Underage drinking still remains illegal. Enforcement continues just as it does now, and in many communities, the Dora's families still comfortably enjoy downtown spaces together. In fact, increased activity and foot traffic can make areas feel safer and more welcoming, not less. A well-managed Dora can coexist with a family-friendly environment where parents, children, and visitors all feel comfortable spending time downtown. This also isn't a new concept. Communities like Greenwood, Speedway, and Carmel, which is probably one of the most family-friendly areas around, has successfully implemented Doras with continued enforcement of Indiana's alcohol laws. Underage drinking remains illegal, and there has not been documented evidence that these nearby Doras have increased underage drinking. I believe Dora is an investment in Beech Grove's future, and it will help attract visitors and support our local businesses like mine, and continue building and thriving Main Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pam Stallard.
Nobody.
Pam.
Pam. Sorry.
Boy, there's several tough acts to follow with some of the speeches we've heard tonight. My name is Pam Stallard. I live at 711 Churchman Avenue, Beech Grove. This DORA thing is just out of left field. We recently had an incident due to outsiders, so to speak. What we're doing with DORA is we're trying to invite these outsiders into Beech Grove, luring them by free-flowing alcohol, which is just incredibly un-Beech Grove. And the premise is they'll come in and shop in our shops. Well, by and large, most of our shops close around 5 o'clock, so our shops are going to be closed by the time DORA goes into effect in some cases. We've been assured that insurance would not be increased because of DORA. Well, I'm sure it won't be increased until the first personal injury incident occurs due to a DORA situation. After that lawsuit, then I can almost guarantee that our insurance is going to be increased. As one other lady said, and I've imagined this in my own mind, the DORA situation is sort of like a pinball where they can go to O'Gara's, slam a couple of drinks, get their Go Cup, go to Fifth Avenue, slam a couple of drinks, then take their Go Cup over to Silver Bullet, and then just do the circuit again, and then they'll drive home. I have a problem with that. With the park, alcohol currently is prohibited, but now our city is pushing alcohol in the park. Does the city get a cut of the sales of this alcohol? Nobody's ever mentioned anything like that. There's no solid plan about the containment of DORA in the park. Is it just the section in front of the stage? Is it the whole park? What separates the Go Cup DORAs from the people who bring in their own coolers full of beer? I know it's a no alcohol park, but people do that. How do you separate those people? Will those people with their own beer not be allowed in the DORA section? Or how does that work exactly? Just a lot of questions. And the last thing I had a question about, not so much a question, somebody mentioned that the concerts in the park last about 95 minutes, so there's no real danger of anybody being intoxicated. Well, there are some people that one drink and they're intoxicated. So a person who stays for the full concert for 95 minutes definitely has an opportunity to get snockered. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pam.
Richard Compton?
Thank you. To the council, thank you. You know, this is really governing. This is really governing, whichever side you're on. I'm going to be brief. Good friend of mine, John Horton, I met here in Beech Grove in 1953. He became a law enforcement officer out in California. I've got his bio here. I'm going to hand this out to the committee. I'm not going to read it. I don't want it read into the record, but I want you to review it. He also gave me a position statement, and I believe if he was in a court of law, counsel, he'd be easy to qualify as an expert witness, as would your father, because we knew your father when he was chasing us, okay? But at any rate, I'm going to hand this out to the council, and I want you to read it. And I want to say this, two of the people I like the best in here is sitting back in that corner. Well, they were back there. Well, there's another gentleman, but I don't know him. But I see the chief back there. But I'd like to hand this out real quick. And I want to draw your attention not to the one with the picture, but the second one. and the last two paragraphs pretty well sums it up. And it talks about what it's going to take to monitor this. I had a lengthy speech, but Gabriel stole it all.
Keep talking, and do that?
Yes, please do that. He needs this one here.
Just make sure you go back to the podium. Thanks.
John and I, real quick. John and I was cutting through the parking lot on St. Francis Hospital the winter of 1962. We saw two gentlemen leaving. They'd taken the coin machine off the wall in the basement. And there was someone from the hospital chasing them. It was winter, snow and ice. One guy went one way, the other guy jumped in his car. There was so much ice on, to the chief. There was so much ice on the ground, I held onto a lamppost and held onto the bumper, and the guy couldn't get traction. And he had a lady in there with him. This is a true story. John, like the Invisible Man, he tracked that guy down through the park. Later we learned that he had a gun, but we were like 17 years old, 16, 17 years old at the time. John went on to become in law enforcement. As you read, you'll see. I think everything's been said. How many people watch The Fever? Well, you know, they got a player on there. Her name's Sophie Cunningham. And she got mad the other night at another player. And those of you that watch it, you saw it. I want to thank you. You took me back to 1961. I used to go to Nazarene Church. Sophie.
You got to stay at the
You gotta be at
podium.
the podium, sir.
Pardon?
You have to stay at the podium
We gotta-
for the record.
they gotta really-
And you have 30 seconds left.
I had more freedom than this on the 6th floor of the city county building.
Turn your head, though. Give that little mom thing.
That's Sophie. Where's the mayor? My father had a number of sayings there. One of them was, he said, son, you could be right so many times. You only got to be wrong once. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard? Richard, I just have one question for you. I think I know the answer, but are you in support of the door or opposed to it? You didn't say so.
I'll give you an answer. 1966, there was a guy beating the hell out of his wife in front of the American
I
Legion.
think we just need a yes or no.
I'm sorry.
We need a yes or no to answer.
Yes, I'm for against it.
Okay, thank you.
No. Anyway, about the.
Your time, I'm sorry, your
I
time is up.
want to say one thing. One more thing. I know everybody.
You get 10 seconds because it's
everybody's-
9:52 and you've had more than 3 minutes.
Talk about no crime on Main Street. Was that guy that got shot at the Silver Bullet, Chief? Was he a Beech Grove resident? Yeah.
When Dennis was mayor.
I don't think he was a Beech Grove resident. I don't think the guy that shot him was a Beech Grove resident. And we tried to stop that guy. We tried to stop that guy from beating his wife. Both of them took a beer bottle and threw him at our car. I mean, no, come with me on the east side. When we leave here tonight, come with me. Let's drive out on the east side.
Oh, I'm going to.
Thank you, Mr. Compton. Thank you, Mr. Compton. Thank you, Mr. Compton.
Yeah.
All right,
Me too.
Mr. Wiley, anybody else?
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Anybody else who is here to speak?
Going.
Okay. All right. All right, so there's a few letters that were received as well. So we'll start off first, counselors. You have them all in front of you. It's that large stack there. So first we'll go through that first list, which is these letters received. Beech Grove Chamber of Commerce in support. Shandy Plicka in support of Dora. The Beech Grove Parks Board in support of Dora. Patrick Kelly in support of Dora. This is a letter from Jennifer Marks with her concerns and request a pause. This was her original letter. Jeff Mader in support of Dora, Morgan Lever in support of Dora, Alicia Anderson in support of Dora. Those are the ones received last month, councilors. We have the letter that was also submitted last time from Diana Hendricks with her prevention impact considerations, and you guys have that in your packet as well. Since our last meeting, we received several letters. The first one is from Katie Stafford in support of Dora. Tara Wolf in support of Dora. Another letter from Shandy Plicka in support, and a couple suggestions about other things to add. The next one is from Dave Grenoble. He said that the park Dora makes sense, but not the Main Street Dora, as it is written. Ashley Pylan in support of Dora. Another letter from Dave Grenoble. This one is, he says he's not really for or against Dora. He can see both sides, but 13 to 15 weeks is too long and seems excessive. Mary O'Cragley in support of Dora. The next one was from Alicia Anderson, and she did request that this be read to the record. I'm going to go a little fast. If I need to slow down, tell me. Good evening. I reside at 88 North 3rd Avenue, 1 block north of Main Street. I'm writing in support of the proposed Dora. The City Council has established a clear and well-defined plan for how the Dora will operate, including designated boundaries, signage, approved containers for alcoholic beverages, and rules that both participating businesses and patrons must follow. Additionally, the ordinance includes a provision allowing the council to immediately discontinue the Dora if it proves unsuccessful. According to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, there are currently 59 municipalities across Indiana with established Doras. Beech Grove is proposing a seasonal Dora on Main Street with limited days and hours during the summer months. Other communities have implemented broader programs with positive results. For example, Fort Wayne established a year-round downtown Dora in 2024 that operates 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Andrew Robinson, Fort Wayne's Economic Development Administrator, stated, "We've seen great success with our Dora, and we anticipate this expansion will continue to benefit local businesses while creating vibrant public spaces that encourage people to gather and enjoy our community." Reports have also indicated that designated areas can make it easier for law enforcement officers to monitor activity. Fort Wayne Police Chief P.J. Smith said downtown Fort Wayne continues to grow as a place where people live, work, gather, and invest. This new district reflects our commitment to keeping downtown safe, welcoming, and vibrant for everyone. I would welcome the opportunity to see Beech Grove experience similar success and cultivate a safe, welcoming, vibrant Main Street. Some may argue that Fort Wayne is significantly larger than Beech Grove and therefore not a fair comparison. However, Jasper, Indiana, with a population of fewer than 16,000 residents, launched its own Dora called Sip and Stroll in 2024. Due to positive feedback from both businesses and patrons, Jasper expanded the program's boundaries and extended its hours in 2025 to accommodate increased foot traffic. At the June meeting, one Main Street business owner expressed concern that customers might stumble into her shop and cause damage. However, according to the business's Facebook page and website, it closes at 4 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays, has limited hours on Saturdays, and is closed on Sundays. As a result, this business would not be open to the public during the proposed Dora hours, making this particular concern unlikely to materialize. Another speaker expressed concern that children would be exposed to alcohol. If exposure to alcohol is a concern, would the same argument apply to restaurants that serve alcohol? I find some of these objections difficult to reconcile with the realities that already exist on Main Street. I respect the choices of adults who choose not to consume alcohol, and I am not dismissing their perspectives. However, many of the objections raised appear to be based on personal preferences rather than on concerns directly related to promoting business growth and community engagement on Main Street. I believe the carefully managed Dora presents an opportunity to support local businesses, encourage community gatherings, and create a more vibrant downtown experience for residents and visitors alike. I respectfully ask the council to support the initiative and allow Beech Grove the opportunity to determine whether this program can be successful for our community. Thank you for your time and consideration. Alicia Anderson. I'm sorry? Yes.
So if we can send a letter to you and ask you to read it rather than come here and sit for 3 hours?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I didn't realize. Of course.
I didn't know those letters were allowed to be read during the council.
Oh yeah, if somebody requests to be heard publicly, I don't mind that. Yes, ma'am. All good. All good. No problem. Thank you, Mrs. McMillan. Up next is letter of support from Kat Brooks. Up next is letter of support from Mary DeVore. Up next is a council of support from Steph Alford. Up next is a letter from Matt Anderson, and he was here this evening, so he read that out loud, so I'm not going to do that tonight. And the last one is from Philip Davis, who opposes the DORA.
And Jim, I have some also.
Okay, let me finish these, and then we'll get back to you, sir.
Oh, I'm
That's okay?
sorry, I thought you was finished.
So today we received several. Those are the letters that we received through this morning. So since today, all the council members have received all these letters as well pertaining to DORA. First is Angie Johnson, and she requested this be read to the record. Dear members of the council, I'm writing to express my strong support for the proposed DORA on Main Street and in Sarah Bolton Park. I would have preferred to attend the meeting to express my support verbally and personally, but I am on a pre-planned vacation. I would appreciate this email being read aloud during the meeting so my full support of economic development for the city of Beech Grove is on the record. As a local resident, I see tremendous value in this seasonal initiative. By allowing patrons to carry a single DORA-approved cup from one participating establishment to another, the city will encourage pedestrians to explore more of what our downtown has to offer. The increased foot traffic is exactly what our local small businesses and restaurants need to thrive, especially during the summer months. I support the ordinance's flexibility, which allows local businesses to fully opt out if they do not wish to participate. This ensures that every business owner retains control over their establishment while still allowing the broader community to benefit from increased economic activity. The defined schedule running seasonally from Memorial Day to Labor Day with limited hours, Thursday through Sunday, strikes a perfect balance between promoting local commerce and respecting our neighborhood's peace. Ultimately, this initiative relies on community trust. I believe we can trust our neighbors and visitors to behave responsibly, watch out for one another, and keep our public spaces safe and family-friendly. DORAs have been successfully implemented in dozens of Indiana communities as a tool to stimulate economic growth and create a more vibrant, walkable downtown environment. Nearby central Indiana communities like Speedway, Zionsville, Carmel, Bargersville, and Westfield have already successfully adopted these zones. I was in attendance at the June meeting and observed that each of the council members who voted no cited personal reasons for doing so. I kindly and strongly request that each council member consider the opinions of their constituents as they cast their vote this evening. Please vote in favor of DORA ordinance so Beech Grove can move forward with this positive economic development. Thank you for your time, leadership, and dedication to our city. Sincerely, Angie Johnson, Timbrook Lane. Up next is from Maggie Johnson. Dear members of the council, I'm writing to express my strong support for the establishing a DORA in Beech Grove. I would have preferred to attend in person, but due to my absence, I would like to request this email be read aloud in the meeting. Beech Grove is more than just my hometown. It is where I was raised, where I spent my entire life and where many of my favorite memories were made. I grew up on Main Street, attending community events, supporting local businesses, and watching our downtown evolve over the years. I have attended most of the festivals, concerts, and community events held on Main Street throughout my life, and despite alcohol being present at many of these events, I have never personally witnessed disorderly conduct or experienced an environment that felt unsafe because of it. My experience has been one of families, neighbors, and friends coming together to enjoy everything our downtown has to offer. Today, at just 22 years old, I am proud to still call Beech Grove home. I have earned my college degree, worked 2 jobs, and have my own residence here because I believe in investing in the community that helped shape me. My perspective comes not only as a lifelong resident, but also as someone who has worked in several of our local businesses. I worked for what was formerly Scarlet Lane Brewing Company, which operated under a carry-out liquor license beginning during the COVID-19 pandemic. That experience showed me that allowing people to purchase alcoholic beverages to enjoy while walking downtown did not create problems or disorder. Instead, it encouraged people to stay on Main Street longer and support neighboring businesses. I also served in Napoli Villa, where I watched firsthand how difficult it was for restaurants to succeed when there simply wasn't enough foot traffic bringing people through downtown. I saw slow nights become slower simply because there wasn't enough reason for people to linger after dinner or explore the rest of Main Street. In addition, my dad has bartended for years at both Greek's Pizzeria and O'Gara's Irish Pub, and my mom previously bartended when Scarlet Lane Brewing Company was located in Beech Grove. Because of my parents' work, I was exposed to restaurants and establishments that served alcohol from a young age. That exposure did not change the trajectory of my life. Instead, it taught me responsibility, respect, and the value of local business. Today, I'm a college graduate. I work 2 jobs and have my own residence at just 22 years old. Being around responsible alcohol service did not define my future. And I believe it is important to recognize that the presence of alcohol does not determine the character of a community or the people who grow up in it. One of the concerns I have heard is that DORA would turn Main Street into the large bar crawl. Respectfully, I do not believe that is a reality. In fact, several establishments on Main Street already have carry-out liquor licenses. Whether a DORA exists or not, people can already purchase a drink to go and move from one establishment to another. That behavior is not new. What DORA changes is why people walk around downtown. Instead of simply going from bar to bar, visitors are encouraged to explore the entire district. They can browse local boutiques, stop into small businesses, enjoy a meal, discover businesses they have never visited before, and spend more time experiencing everything Beech Grove has to offer. Adora shifts the focus from drinking to creating a vibrant, walkable downtown where all businesses, not just bars, benefit from increased foot traffic. Communities across Indiana have successfully implemented Adoras because they recognize them as economic development tools, not drinking initiatives. They create vibrancy, attract visitors, encourage residents to spend more time downtown, and help. I'm sorry?
3 minutes? You've been
Or-
talking for long reading that letter.
For this letter.
We're still delaying
Okay.
by interrupting.
I'm sorry, I lost my spot there. Let me start that one over. Communities across Indiana have successfully implemented DORAs because they recognize them as economic development tools, not drinking initiatives. They create vibrancy, attract visitors, encourage residents to spend more time downtown, and help small businesses succeed. Beech Grove deserves the same opportunity. I believe it is important to consider the future of our city. I am part of that plan. I have no intention of putting down roots anywhere else. I plan to spend my life in Beech Grove, continue building my career, and one day raise a family. As someone who is investing in my future in this community, I want to see our downtown continue to grow into a place where local businesses flourish and where future generations can create the same memories I have. I love the city, and I believe supporting Adora is about far more than allowing someone to carry a drink outdoors. It is about supporting local businesses, encouraging economic growth, creating a stronger sense of community, and giving Beech Grove the opportunity to showcase everything that makes Main Street special. Thank you for your time, your service to the community, and your thoughtful consideration of this proposal. I hope you will vote in support of bringing Adora to Beech Grove and investing in the future. Sincerely, Maggie Johnson, Fletcher Lane.
No.
Up next is Chloe Keister in support and Catherine Quinn in support. That's what you all have in front of you for letters. Mr. McMillan, do you have a couple to?
Yeah, I'm not gonna read any letters, I'll just read the names.
Yes, sir.
Eric Walker, opposed. And
Are
these
these
have
letters
all,
or petitions?
these is a petition, they all showed their license, they live in Beech Grove, which some of them I do not believe do.
All right, so are we going to read each name on the petitions? Because I have a couple hundred to read.
I don't
Okay.
care, I got all day, all night. Eric Walker, opposed. Pam Stollard, opposed. Philip Davis, opposed. Renetta Hartley, opposed. Elizabeth Berg, opposed. James Flannery, opposed. Beth Kincaid, opposed. Larry Kincaid, opposed. David Irwin, opposed. Shirley Middleton, opposed. Norman Middleton, opposed. Kathy Chappell, opposed. Lee Farnsworth, opposed. Randy Middleton, opposed. Dave Grenoble, opposed. Rebecca Flannery, opposed. Donna Himmelgarn, opposed. Earl Ederman, I believe it is, opposed. Ann Flannery, or Anna Ottinger, opposed. James Sigmund, opposed. Pandora Osborne, opposed. Mike Himmelgarn, opposed. Stephanie Himmelgarn, opposed. Dan McMillan, opposed. I had numerous others that are opposed that spoke to me, but they would not put their name on a petition. So anyway, that's the names I've got. There was a couple other petitions going on. I don't know if they haven't turned them in to me, so I don't know if they have any more or not. Do you have some? Can you do yours? The ones you haven't opposed? She's got them. Jennifer does. Diana didn't bring hers with her, so that's fine.
So you just want me to give them to you to read?
Yeah, I'll read them. I have no problem with it. I have no idea who they are. Thanks, sir. Jennifer Marks, opposed. Brandon Marks, opposed. Kyle Bigelow, opposed. Shanna Rayleigh, opposed. Donna Ruby, opposed. Cheryl Adams, opposed. David Redmond, opposed. Beth Redmond, opposed. Donna Bennett, opposed. Roger Bennett, opposed. Randy Reed, opposed. Deborah Reed, opposed. John Bateson, opposed. Amy Bates, opposed. Paula Rytel, opposed. Robert Rytel, opposed. And Diana, here's a few more. Mr. Carpenter, opposed. Pat McCain, opposed. Kyle McCain, opposed. Mary Carpenter, opposed. And Diana, do you have approximately how many you had? About 15? Okay.
About 50.
Oh, 50? Okay. But anyway,
Can I ask a
Um,
question of both of you before you read any more stuff? Are you guys making sure that these are Beach Grove residents?
163 residents and 46 business supporters from outside the
We
city.
haven't read
Yes.
ours yet. I'm not sure.
So,
Yeah, I'm not sure. Ms. Councilman Ramon, are those all Beach Grove residents?
the ones I read that I checked driver's license or I personally knew them.
Jennifer, were your people all Beach Grove
Yes.
residents? Okay. Yep.
And over, like, voting ages.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my kids would have signed.
That's fair.
I told them
Got
But
Yeah, perfect. All right, good day. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna point out, just the first glance of one of these petitions, some of them do not live in Beech Grove.
Oh, yeah,
They would-
we
I
have
know.
163 of those residents,
Okay.
and then 43 aren't.
Okay.
And we removed duplicates.
do you mind me asking where you got your petition?
Yeah,
O'Gara's,
absolutely. Yeah, I was going to work on
Yeah.
that next. I wasn't sure if
he's
Councilman
gonna,
Ramon was done.
O'Gara's,
There's a
Greeks,
process.
and the park.
Don't live, okay, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay,
I
is that
have
all?
those addresses
Go
if you
ahead.
guys want.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so there were a few other petitions going around the city. I know Greek's Pizzeria submitted one in support of it, and there were some of them that were not Beach Grove residents, but we went through and verified those to make sure.
Was
Total,
any
we had
done
100.
at the park?
I'm sorry.
Was any
no,
of
I'm
these?
talking about Greeks.
I understand
Yeah.
that. I'm asking a question.
Eventually-
Was any of these petitions
Yes.
done at Beech Grove Park?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and approve and
So
no.
they
They had an
were-
option to say yes or no.
So. So correct. So yeah, well, I was going to get to that. If you guys can just let me finish. So let me get to those. So first is Greeks, okay?
All right.
So Greeks had a petition out there, and they had it going around their business, okay? And we went through them. So we had 100 total. We had 163 residents, okay? So when you talk about Greeks,
On which one?
Greeks had 40 residents and 6 Beach Grove supporters, okay? So I guess we're going to read the names in the record. So read the names into the record, okay? Sam Moore, Luke Moore, Kim McManus, Mike McManus, Angie Johnson, Maggie Johnson, Sadie Love, David Hoover, Alicia Anderson, Tina Bays, Matt Anderson, Desiree Stone, Brian Witham, Nicole Blackley, Mike Shanahan, James Bauman, Mike Blackley, Michaela Curry, Malia Warren, Sarah Hoover, Charles Level, Natasha Level, Aaron Wetzel, Brevin Baker, David Ginsburg, Matt Kepicom, Brandon Tim, Crystal Puckett, Dylan Andrews, Jacan Van Hook, Danielle Noon, Andrew Noon, Rebecca Turner, Billy Freeman, Rachel Kinkoff, Morgan Tizek, Emerson Strayer, Amanda Taylor, John Taylor, and Brittany Miller. 40 residents and 6 Beach Grove business owners. There was another petition going around, and this one was from O'Gara's. So the residents there, they had a total of 97 residents and 30 Beach Grove business supporters on their list. Ashley Pyland, Sally Somm, Jeff Yeager, Charles Bowden, Nick Alford, Robert Brabinder, Jeff Alford, Jeff Cooper, Zoe Andrews, Maggie Johnson, Elena Jones, Jackie Crouch, Elena Sheets, Nathan Sheets, Brian Baker, John Johnson, Phil Markey, Jim Davis, Linda Van Hook. Jim Davis was unknown, actually. No address provided. Linda Van Hook, Robert Van Hook, Chad Buttram, Nicholas Pattison, Chase Browning. I'm sorry, he's not a resident. Brevin Baker, Julie Carson, Adam Brabinder, Linda Fox, Keith Megg, Kyle Carter, Jenna Stauffer, Rob Chalice, Mark Rim, Meg Chalice, Dave Harrison, Natasha Level, Sarah Lisby, John Johnson, Charles Level, David Hoover, Sarah Hoover, David Marks, Aubrey Anderson, Jeremiah Marshall, Mike Mick Baxter, Shauna Piazza, Chelsea Chalice, Jonathan Chalice, Pete Piazza, Chase Alford, Andrew Blue Rose, Logan Muffler, Stephanie Alford, David Marks again, Glenda Marks, Edward Marks, Robert Walker, Kim.
He listed his address as North 17th, and he just had a BZA hearing.
He resides in Florida.
Okay. He has, yeah, he listed
And he
North
has
17th.
He has us, not
Robert Walker, Kim Browning, Gloria Gallen, Elizabeth Gutierrez, Richard Freeman, J.L. Gillespie, Donna Jordan, Leonard Barrows, Louis Ledoux, Tracy Wallace, Nathan Rinks, Dorothy Crouch, Jason Stump, Bev Magnus, Ron Magnus, Lauren Hatch, Ryan Matkins, Kathy Rinks, Stacy Arthur, Keith Bush, Casey Arthur, Bo Rinks, Kevin Ashshire, Sharon Geralds, Tony Geralds, Joanne Johnson, Dominic Klaus, Joe Rim, Kyle Apri, John Wallace, Tasha Rim, Kathy Denise, Charles Denise, James Bauman, Joey Eversole, Stacy Eversole, Amy Hatch, Derek Blyce, Jordan King, Arilla Golans, Janice King, Caitlin King, and Beth Bobko. Again, that was a total of 97 residents and 30 Beech Grove business supporters. And then,
Did whoever took that petition, did they make sure they looked at the driver's license?
yes, their addresses were verified.
Well, I mean, you didn't verify the Ed Martians, obviously, because
It's-
he does live in Florida.
Okay. Well, he put down that address. So,
Well, how did you verify?
so
I'm asking if you verified with the driver's
looked him up.
license.
We looked him up.
What about
So
Sandy
Greeks and then
Stewart? She's on here.
Yeah,
Where's
but she's
she at?
marked
I
as
haven't
no.
gotten to that part
She's
yet, I'm
marked
sorry.
as
That's-
no.
That's the next one, okay?
All right.
Well, wait, there's more.
Let's go.
So also at the last summer concert series, there was a petition there for and against, okay? They had two options. It was over there at the table where the vendors were and the food trucks were. The sheet for not in support of Dora, Brett James and Scott Waltz, both Beech
Before
Grove.
you go any further, I'd like to interrupt. And Craig, I'd like your opinion on this, as you cannot campaign or do anything in government buildings or property.
This is
So,
not campaigning.
Let's look at, I mean.
This is a city poll.
It's a petition, same as what's you put online and what you're putting online. That's all it is.
But
So is it
you
illegal to put a
cannot
parking
do it
survey up?
on government property.
What's campaign?
Just like you cannot politic in this city hall.
So Councilor Matkins can't have his parking survey on the website?
I don't care if he, where he puts it.
It's the same thing,
It's-
Dan.
you
It's a
cannot
poll of
verify a lot
constituents.
I mean,
of that.
it's the whole point of this, Councilman McMillan, is just to show the support and the opposition, right? So that's all that is. So there was a
Do petitions, I wonder, 'cause
to where?
To where?
you know, like a church. You would
I think they
have
came in
a
person.
large audience at that concert.
Mhm.
People that like to party,
Yeah.
like to drink, nothing wrong with it, that's
Correct.
great.
I think, yeah,
Everybody go to any of the churches and do so you compare apples to apples.
Their pastors came.
yeah.
I
There were
think
some pastors.
they were
here.
represented.
So there are two people who spoke and not who not
I know,
in support
he's
of
not
it,
reading
okay?
the condensed one, which we have the condensed
And then
numbers.
so again, so there was how many for the park? Oh, that one. Okay, for the park, there were 2 residents against it. And for it, there were 36 residents for the DORA and 10 Beech Grove concert goers for it. I will read just the resident ones. Again, some of these might be duplicates, but Nathan Rinks, Leanne Martin, Molly Heinrich, Kathy Dyson, Christy Childers, Adrian Smith Sage, Megan Pick, Joe Pick, John Jennings, Ann Jennings, Ben Luzon, Pam Luzon, Brad Johnson, Kathy Johnson, Taylor Solar, Ryan Solar, Gretchen McHugh, Mike McHugh, Andy McHugh, Christian Beckham, James Klingensmith, Jeff Cooper, Beth Dillon, Jeffrey Nyberg, Megan Frank, Brent Matlock, Jody Gent, Gina Norman, Sean Norman, Tara Wolf again, Jasmine Anderson, Jennifer Kaufman, Tiffany Flick, Amy Spangler, Samantha Stratton, Alice Dreger, again, 36 residents, and then another 10 that I did not read who were just concert goers. So, a lot of information there. I appreciate all the petitions that were put out there. Sounds like there were a lot. There's a lot of active public discussion about this DORA ordinance. I think at the end of the day, we all have the same goal in mind, is to protect the city, bring people here, and do what we can to continue to grow our city. That's all that we have for public comment. With any other letters, any other petitions out there that we have, and we'll move on the agenda items.
Is this one I read?
Yes, you did have a letter too. I'm sorry, Councilwoman. Yes, go right ahead, please. Thank you.
Now y'all
I told you to remind me. Thank
you
you.
have to promise me if I get passionate, they won't call me a mad black woman.
Yeah.
Dear Beech Grove community, like many of you, I was deeply saddened by the juvenile shooting that occurred following the July 3rd fireworks celebration. My thoughts are with everyone impacted by this event. As our community processes what happened, I believe it is important that we focus on the facts, support law enforcement efforts to investigate, and continue working to promote public safety. Communities are made up of people who make both responsible and irresponsible choices. No ordinance, policy, or program can completely prevent every individual from violating the law. That is why laws and ordinance exist. To establish expectation, provide accountability, and create consequences when those expectations are not met. I hope, and I was hoping tonight, that we could approach this discussion with respect for one another and a shared commitment to the well-being of Beech Grove. While we may disagree on certain issues, I believe we agree on far more. We want safe neighborhoods, thriving local businesses, successful community events, and a city where families feel secure. In times like these, it is important that we avoid division and instead work together to identify constructive solutions. Our focus should remain on public safety, personal responsibility, accountability, and the continued strengthening of our community. Let us extend grace to one another, listen carefully to different perspectives, and remember that we all share the same goal, a safer and stronger Beech Grove. Respectfully, Avis Friesen.
Thank you very much. Should have started off with yours there, Councilwoman. Okay, that moves on to unfinished business. Up first is Journal Ordinance number 2, 2026, DORA on second reading, and I would highly entertain a motion to read by title only.
I will make
By
that
Noble.
motion. I'll second it. Let's go.
Yes.
First, in a motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Do you have a physical packet? I don't, my laptop is not working. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I don't know what the title is. Oh, thank you, Liz. General ordinance number 3.
Is that the right one?
Nope.
Nope. Sorry.
Number 2. You want me to read it again?
Thank you. General Ordinance 2, 2026 is an ordinance establishing designated outdoor refreshment areas along Main Street and within Sarah T. Bolton Park and setting forth rules and requirements for operation.
All right. So, General Ordinance number 2, 2026, Dora's second reading is up for a vote. Entertain a motion to approve on second reading only.
I'll make said motion to approve on reading number 2 by title only.
I second.
Second. We're going to start with on my left. All in favor?
No.
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 Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. General Ordinance number 2, 2026 fails by a vote of 4-3. Thank you. That means General Ordinance number 2, 2026, Dora is not up for third reading tonight. Moves on to General Ordinance number 3, 2026, wheel tax on second reading only. Again, entertain a motion to read this by title only tonight.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Thank you.
Okay, General Ordinance number 3, 2026 is an ordinance that amends Chapter 39 of the City of Beech Grove's Code of Ordinances, establishing a municipal wheel tax and motor vehicle license excise tax, and creating the city's wheel tax fund and the motor vehicle license excise surtax fund.
Thank you. All right, General Ordinance number 3, 2026, wheel tax is on second reading only this evening.
I'll make said motion.
Can we have some discussion?
Sure.
Indianapolis did vote.
There's
by the
been
way.
some confusion as to what Indianapolis or Marion County's match would be for ours. Have you gotten
So-
any clarity on that?
So there wouldn't be a match. So basically what happens now, and it's still up for discussion, I know Indianapolis is voting on theirs tonight,
They
I
just
believe.
finished.
They just finished it. Okay.
It passed 14 to 10.
They passed
They
14
still
to 10.
expect Hogsett to veto it, but they need 17 votes to override it.
Okay. So it passed on, is that first
I think
reading
it's
only?
final reading,
Okay.
yeah.
So they entertained it, or introduced it tonight, and it passed, apparently, in Indianapolis. So how we got here, so it's when they implemented the property tax savings last year on municipalities, they changed a few other things that we'll have to introduce as a council, as a municipality. One of them was the wheel tax. They said in order to have the opportunity of getting your community crossing grants each year, you have to implement your own wheel tax. So currently, it's all based on county, okay? So last year, a couple municipalities passed their own wheel tax, and it was stacked last year. So it's my understanding that Lawrence, they passed their wheel tax last year, and it stacks with Indianapolis. The legislature then went and changed that. They said, okay, we need to unstack those. So the law as it reads today says it would not stack. So basically, if Beech Grove implemented our own wheel tax, it would not stack with Marion counties. However, I'm being told that the state legislature is looking to change that this year, that they want to introduce it to where it stacks again this fall. So it's hard to figure out what exactly the state's going to do with that. But as of today, it would not stack. So if the city did not do anything, it would default back to the Marion County rate, whatever that's going to be, if it's this higher rate, or if it goes back to the normal rate. Regardless, if we do not pass it, we will not have access to community crossing grants anymore. And as we mentioned last year, the city's received millions of dollars in community crossing grants over the years because of that. So if we do not implement our own, then we will lose access to that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. So to answer your question, Councilor Duffer, no one really knows exactly, and it's hard. So as it's written now, if we don't pass one, it will default to whatever Marion County does.
And I've been told by too that if our 25 is just a drop in a bucket to what will be levied against us futuristically. I'm just
If they do it correct. Oh, absolutely. It'd be like quadruple what we're getting now. So,
so it's something we need to think about.
correct. So that's why we put it on. That's why I only put it on second reading tonight, so we can kind of have that discussion again tonight and kind of see what Indianapolis does and see if we can get some more clarifications from the state. But if we were to not do ours and it defaults back to Marion County, I think we'd probably quadruple what we bring in our paving budget each year. We would lose the community crossing grant access to that money, but we'd get substantially more from that because of it.
Well, if it defaulted to what Marion County's doing, we would get like 1.2, some
Correct.
from the county.
Correct.
But if we just stay with our wheel tax
We
then
don't-
we can have the opportunity to get the community crossings grants, but we're not gonna get any Marion County dollars.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but theirs is gonna be $100.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and it just depends. And the state legislature might come back and say, you know what, we're going to stack them again. And that's,
And when you say stack, just make sure that.
It's
So
we-
meaning-
We
We
could pay
pay
125.
so we would pay
Okay.
125.
Right, we get double taxed.
Correct.
Just make sure people understand that. We get
Correct.
double taxed.
So that's a hard part with the state legislature. We don't really know what their plans are this fall, right? Whether it be property taxes or local income tax, we will tax, all these taxes are going to put back on, or put on the backs of local municipalities to figure out, and that's what they're doing. And this is one of them right here, and it's going to be tough. It's a hard decision. No one wants to tax their residents. No one wants to increase taxes. But then again, at the same time, we don't know how much this will raise. So if we raise it up to, if we put $25, there's no idea how many vehicles are in the city of Beech Grove, right? And you would think that somebody would have that quantify that information. It's not out there. Same with local income tax. No one can quantify how much money we would bring in if we were to implement a local income tax, as the state is suggesting that we do. So that's another hard part, is no one has the answers for us.
But
What happened to double taxation?
That's
what he's talking about.
They removed it.
But
That's, yeah,
I'm
but
saying
if it's
supposed to be illegal
it's
for
supposed to
double
be, but if it's,
taxation.
yeah, they made a law that it was
a long
legal.
time ago.
They made a law that it was legal, sir.
But we know that
So-
at $25 a wheel tax for Beech Grove, that's only gonna bring in a few $100,000.
Correct, and that is the minimum that the state said you have to, if you implement, you have to do a minimum of 25 for personal and 40 for commercial. So that is why it's presented those numbers. That's what they said your baseline is. In order to qualify for your additional funding, that's where your baseline has to be. You can go higher. Indianapolis clearly chose to go a lot higher than that, right? Because they have other reasons to do that, because.
They need a $50 million.
Correct, which is another stipulation that the state gave them. Right, wrong, or different, that's the stipulation they gave.
Will we be able to repeal or re-vote on that if they decide to stack, and so that we can only bring it down to the 100 as opposed to 125? Because at that point, then we're really getting hit.
Well, it's hard, because in order for this to be implemented, it has to be over to the state by September. So the legislation session won't start till after that. So it's hard to say what they'll allow us to do.
So probably for at least a full year.
I would say it'd be stuck
Yeah.
at that level with the 25, and if they do end up stacking it. But my guess is that if they do change it this fall to stack it, I don't know how they could do it for 2027. I think they'd have to do it for the future for 2028 is my guess.
And we'd have time to modify.
To make
yeah.
a change, yes, because I don't think they can retroactive it and do it quick enough for the state to figure out exactly how they're going to tax all those people, because the state specifically said we have to do it by September so they can implement the processes that they have to do internally to make sure they work with the B&V and make sure when you get your registrations due and they send your renewals out that it gets credited to Beech Grove and not Marion County. So that's why they want it done by September.
Well, what concerns me through all this is now that we don't have a gas tax, which is great, because
Mhm.
Indiana's the lowest gas, price in the country, but there's a lot of money that's being
Mhm.
lost from the state revenue for future roads.
There is. Governor Braun announced last week that he's going to reimburse
Okay.
all the losses that the municipalities have seen from that. So we don't know exactly how much that is, but
Again.
he did announce that last week. So that's a positive. I don't know if he'll do that for every month or however long he's going to suspend that gas tax, but he did state that.
He's lifting it.
I'm sorry?
He's announced today, August 16th, it's gonna be lifted.
Oh, okay. The gas tax.
He
Okay.
has to, or he has to get state legislation.
Oh, okay, to pass it
extend
by period.
He's
Okay.
at his limit now.
Gotcha.
so
I had not heard that yet
State
today. Okay.
legislation would have to
That's fair.
pass if it
To
extended.
do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So he is going to make that right, I guess you would just say. So. Any other questions?
We did get our July distribution in case anybody wants to know what we get now. Our first distribution was $114,401, and our best guess is if you double that and divide it by 20, that gets how many cars we have by the loosest estimate possible. And if it's that many cars times 25 is $285,000. Just, that's a very loose estimate.
Yeah.
I would not hold me to that, but I know Indianapolis is basing it off of a $20 average based on what we get now, so.
But that's no commercial fee.
Correct, that includes everything. Yeah, so it'd probably be a little higher.
Any other questions or comments? If not, General Ordinance number 3, 2026, bill taxes on second reading only this evening. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All those in favor, start with my left.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
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 Thank you. General ordinance number 3, 2026, wheel tax, passes on second reading only this evening. There is no new business this evening. Council comments. Going to keep on my left here. Council Duffer.
It's been a long meeting, so I'll keep my comments short. I understand our mayor's getting ready to go to Florida, so say a prayer for him, that he gets down there safely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's all I got. Thank you.
Very interesting meeting tonight. I think we did a good thing for our citizens, voting down the door. That's it.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out, and thank you so much to the 9-year-old young man that
Did
said
an
it all.
excellent job.
This is how government's supposed to work. Everybody comes out, speaks their mind, presents their facts and their opinions,
Yes.
and we're supposed to listen. We're supposed to take it all in. Numbers don't lie, but we all vote with our hearts and how we think that everybody in our districts want us to. So with that, I thank everybody for coming out and presenting those. And I'm ready to go to bed.
Okay.
Well, yeah, quite a meeting tonight. Thank everyone for coming out for sure. Does anyone have any idea of the score of the USA?
They
lost.
They lost.
Oh, no.
4-1.
No wonder it was a meeting drug out. Probably a good thing, and I didn't see that, so, okay. Thank you, that's all I have to say about it.
Like everyone else, just learned a lot and thankful for the experience.
That it? That's all you got. I like to sit next to this lady. I really do.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
No, just thanks to everybody who came out and spoke out or for or against Dora. Like Ryan said, that's what city government's supposed to be. And thank you to all of our city workers and our police officers, and everybody have a great night.
Stay safe.
Absolutely.
Can I make a motion?
I don't have anything to say tonight, so we've said it all. Motion to adjourn.
I make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 10:36. Our next council meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 3rd.
Can this count for 2?
I wish.
What, overtime?
No, she said if it counts for 2, yeah.
Yeah, I
I was
right before he was, I need to read this